we're going to get back to the house in Fata Morgana. We are 13 episodes into the house in Fata Morgana. And you don't need me to tell you how much I've been loving this game. I totally, like, every week, this is my HBO. This is my, this is my prestige TV. This is every week our little tradition here of uncovering and peeling back a few more layers on this epic. And I don't mean that in like the epic narwhal bacon sense of the word. I mean that in like the Iliad and the Odyssey epic sense of just a gargantuan story here. Tragedy, romance, comedy. How much of the game is left? I believe that, right, not in the Elon Musk sense of epic. I believe there's about 12 hours fix. 12 to 13. And so I got to get going here today, but I think we're going to have 2 more weeks of this. I will be able to beat it by this year. I've been kind of keeping like a vague look at how much is left through long plays and things, and definitely will be done with this year. But to say that I'm eager to get there, I'm definitely not. I'm going to miss this. And the good news is there are 2 I don't know what you would call them, expansion pseudo sequels. One's a prequel story and one is a sequel story that are like DLC sized, expansion pack sized, closer to like the 15 to 20 hour range. So while it will be, bittersweet to wrap this up and get to the end of our time with all of these characters, it's not done. There are 2 more stories to tell with the world of the house in Fata Morgana. What's up, Floyd? We were just talking about that. No, and that's the reason why I didn't do Goated Plus for it, Speedster, is because they are so substantial, and they're also both written and set in a way that is designed around having a little bit of time away. So I think the first one came out 2 or 3 years after. And from what I've understood is that if you just marathon them right into the other, there's a lot of expository dialogue that's like, yeah, I know. Like if you read them right one into the other, it's very repetitious in what it reminds you about. So I think just given the structure of this channel and giving more time spent away, it'll just hit better to be back in 6 months, 8 months, and be like, oh man, what was the deal with Yukimasa? Right. Okay, got it. And the game will be reteaching all of those elements. Yeah, it's extensive. I was just saying, this game is gargantuan. We have, I think, 2 or 3 episodes left, and we'll be wrapping it up. I think 2 episodes after tonight, and we'll definitely be at the end. But we left last episode getting the 5th of 8 endings. And that 5th ending was... Oh, I should change this name to Never Let Go. We should... the 5th ending was, at the very end, we let go of the witch, Morgana, and woke up across from the white-haired girl at a cafe with this lingering feeling that we're missing something. We're missing a part of ourselves. Something's not quite here. As Michelle, even though we were in the modern day and we were looking across at the white-haired girl who responded to the name Giselle, something was wrong. And so tonight, as we continue the house in Fata Morgana, we're going to figure out, because I have no, like, talking about, like, it's so extensive, I feel like there are a few things that we haven't uncovered, right? There's some mysteries inside the house with what's going on with Ghost Mel and Ghost Yukimasa and Ghost Jacopo. What's going on with the man in the painting that said to tell somebody sorry that knew about the 3 keys. There are a lot of questions still, but I don't know if there's any more doors. Discord didn't ping me. What's up, Susie? How are you? I don't know if there are any more doors left to open. I don't know if there's any more backstory. Like, because as far as I'm concerned, we got the Witch Morgana's backstory. We got Michelle and Giselle's backstory. We received the information of the 3 doors telling the recounted tales of Nellie and Mel, Yukimasa and Pauline, Jacopo and Maria. We have all of those pieces are together. I think we might be dealing with the present in this moment. And so, as always, exclamation point advisory when it comes to the house in Fata Morgana. But yeah, as I said, the man in the painting, as well as the modern ghost apparition versions of Mel, Yukimasa, and Jacopo. Those are the 3. Those are the 4 questions left on my mind, at least. And so I think it's time to get back into the house in Fata Morgana. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Let go. Now, if you'll remember where we were last time we played this, there's going to be a dialogue choice that comes up here. The witch, Morgana, has told us to let go. And so either we can let go. Let it all go, Michelle. Or we don't. Just hit me with this song. Just hang out in this song for a second. Such a jam. So many jams. Don't listen to her. Let's fucking go. Don't trust anything she says. Don't trust anything she shows you, Michelle. You told me you believed in my love, that if it could survive for hundreds of years, it must be real. So don't start doubting it now. Let's go. Open your eyes, Michelle, and look at me. Listen to me, please. Listen to the sound of my voice. Michelle, will you listen to what I really think? How I actually feel? I would never, ever push you away. Do you remember what I said, Michelle, when you broke through the cocoon I had built around myself? I said that I would never come to hate you, and I still stand by that. My feelings haven't changed in the slightest. It doesn't matter what kind of past you had or what kind of secrets you kept. I still love you. You accepted me, Michelle. I spent hundreds of years trapped in this place watching as tragedy after tragedy befell its residents, slowly losing my grip on myself until I had been twisted so far I could tell them like stories with a cold smile on my face. And despite what I had become, you still took my hand. You still said you loved me. No matter what horrors you've experienced, I will always and forever take your hand. Michelle. Giselle. Please, have faith in me, Michelle. Don't believe what some illusion says. Believe me. Believe the real me. You have it backwards, Giselle. The truth is, I never once doubted you. What? I never doubted your love. Michelle, I despised myself. I hated that I was so weak I couldn't even bear being rejected by a phantasm made to look like you. I didn't want you to see me like that. I didn't want you to know I was so weak. To see my past, to see me now, a pitiful, unsightly mess. I couldn't stand the thought of you seeing any of that. If only in your memories, if only for you, I wanted to be gallant, to be a man. I wanted to be the man who never cried, who never showed weakness, and who died trying to protect you. I didn't want you to know that I was so weak, that I was such a sad, frail person, and not even a real man. Michelle, I didn't want you to see that. Morgana was telling the truth. I opened the door to our past in order to bring you back, but that wasn't the whole story. I kept details about myself out, things that would make me look bad. There's no one as shameful and reprehensible as me. No, Michelle, there's no one in this world as admirable as you. You remained true to yourself to the end. No matter how bad things got, day after day you fought, all alone, despite being put through hell. Yet you chose not to curse those responsible. Only once did you ever consider cursing someone. Your father. I remember that day very well. I was too stupid to realize it at the time, but you did that for me. The one time you ever wanted to curse someone was for me. Give yourself a little more credit. Well, you did perhaps come off a bit inscrutable, but deep down you're truer to yourself than anyone. Motivations simple and pure. Your heart full of kindness. Know that you're a wonderful, admirable man, Michelle, and be proud of who you are. That doesn't change how much suffering I put you through, Giselle. I was the white-haired girl. The girl in the portrait was me. It was all me. I came back more than once, showing up a woman, then disappearing again, hurting you, completely unaware, pushing you away, leaving nothing but tragedy in my wake. I'll never forgive myself for what I did to you. Oh, have faith in yourself, Michelle. Follow your heart. I know it was a secret you didn't want revealed, but for me, I couldn't be happier to know the truth. Because it shows just how incredibly much you love me. And not only in life. The hundreds of years I spent trapped in this mansion, you spent searching for me. In that vast, empty, hopeless void, you heard my voice, and your love guided you to me. When you had lost everything, your love for me still lived on. And even as it tore you apart, you kept fighting to make it back to me. A few blanks in your memory don't account for someone so fiercely determined could suddenly become a completely different person. But Giselle, how am I supposed to believe that? How am I supposed to believe that that wasn't me, when everything about us is exactly the same? You're not the white-haired girl, Michelle. Have faith in your own heart and the things you stand for. Have faith in your true self, in the person you are, the shape of your soul. You were never the white-haired girl, and you never will be. Remember when you first arrived at the mansion, Michelle? I took your hand, and together we watched dozens of different lives play out. Were your memories anywhere among them? It wasn't behind those doors that you found yourself, but in the remnants of the months that we shared here. Was the white-haired girl anywhere in your memories? You are Michelle, and no one else. But that doesn't change what my body... I know you, Michelle. I know who you are deep down, and I love you from the bottom of my heart. And I want you to understand that, to know how I feel. Though we only shared our love for a month in life, it was enough for me to wait hundreds of years for your return. And you fought with everything you had to make it back to me, to get me out of here. You are the greatest man I have ever known. Giselle, how is it? You always manage to see straight through me, Giselle. To give me exactly what I want. That smile, that single ray of light in the endless dark. To say exactly what I've so desperately yearned to hear. The words I've sought for countless years. Giselle! I reach out for her, but she's begun to fade, her outline hazy and blending into the surroundings. And all I manage to grab is empty air. I want more than anything to feel her warmth right now, the sensation of her skin against mine, but there's nothing there. Please, Giselle, don't leave my side again. Don't worry. I'm right here with you. I'm not going anywhere. Giselle, put your hands on my shoulders. Wrap your arms around me. I can't. I want to so much, but I can't feel you there at all. You can, Michelle. I promise. Just close your eyes. Now reach forward, slowly. You can feel me there, can't you? That's my finger, and that's my hair. Those are my eyes, and here are my lips. Here's my heart, where I keep all the feelings you gave back to me and my love for you. In body and in spirit, I am all yours. Can you sense me here beside you? I think I can. Now, hold on and don't let go. You know, it's kind of funny. We're like two awkward kids around each other, bound together by a love so amazingly powerful, yet we've only ever held hands a few times, and embracing is like some incredible achievement for us. And we're supposed to be full-grown adults. Kiss me, Michelle. We never got the chance while we were alive. Giselle, are you gonna tell me to wait again? Not this time. I feel my way around the emptiness where she is. Her skin, white, but not pallid. Her slightly flushed cheeks, dimpled by her smile. Her lips, which at times called me master, and at times called me Michelle. Her entire being. This woman who accepted me as a man, who even in death continued to bring me back from my darkest places. She is my everything. I feel a faint breath against my neck, somewhere between a sigh and a giggle. I feel her warmth, which I thought I would never know again, the soft touch of her skin. I envision her face before me where I'm sure she is with her eyes closed, and I press my lips against hers. It's a quick, clumsy affair, just a little peck. Not the kind of kiss two grown adults might be expected to share, but nonetheless, a gentle warmth spreads through my body from the place our lips touched. It's a sensation so pleasant, so nice, I can hardly believe it's real. Our surroundings dissolve, and the world takes on a new face. A plane of tranquil light created by Giselle, into which the mansion's darkness slowly seeps. The difference is, now I'm not afraid to step back into it. All it took was that single, irreplaceable moment to change my everything. Though I can't see her there, I can feel her presence right beside me, her heart, and that she too can feel mine. I won't falter anymore. I'm through hesitating, wavering about in fear of my own weakness. I will look to the future. I will believe in myself because she believes in me. I'm done carrying the chains I created for myself. I have work to do. No more looking away from my responsibility. As the light dims and darkness begins to take over, I hear her voice in my ear. Michelle, can I ask you to lend your hand to someone? You've set me free, and now I'd like you to do the same for her. This is something I don't think anyone else can do. Only you can rid the mansion of its darkness. And I'm here with you too. So let's open the final door together. The true final door. We can put an end to all this tragedy. I know we can. Now, off we go, Michelle. And do not let go of my hand. Giselle? Reality fades back into view. I'm looking at neither the endless, eroding darkness, nor the visions of my past, but the sea of blood spreading in all directions. I'm standing at the top of the observation tower outside the door. I've returned, back in Morgana's world, her bitter, hate-filled, curse-fueled world. To tell you the truth, well, I didn't see this coming. This is my mansion, my domain, and she was supposed to be locked up. But it would seem my will is not as absolute as I had thought. What would you call that? The power of love? Is that what allowed this to happen? How trite. Where's the magic? The miracle? I can think of one other reason she was able to escape. And it's the only way we'll find the power we need to cast off the darkness of this house. But first, before we do anything else, we must open this door. Whatever nonsense that woman filled your head with, well, it certainly seems to have put some fight into those eyes. Well, good for you, my dear. A little confidence boost doesn't erase the fact that you were on the ground, crawling through filth like a worm, tears streaming down your face as you tried to ignore what lay before you. A little self-esteem isn't going to make you any less helpless when you step through that door. But that won't stop me from trying. I'm done acting like you're some inevitability, some force of nature. It's time for me to take a stand, Morgana. The air around the door has a distinct chill to it as I place my hand against the wood surface. My arms, once bloody and lacerated, are now whole again. I can feel my entire body, everything back in its rightful place. I take in a breath, lift my head, focus my gaze on the door, and push it open. Resting on the back of my hand, I can feel another palm, soft and warm. Through the single window sitting high atop the wall shines a ray of light. A black butterfly flutters within the beam. Its form is indistinct, wavering like a mirage as it slowly descends to the tower floor. And then, from within the darkness, a person appears. Is that you, Morgana? Well, how does it feel to finally meet the real thing, my dear? I knew you were young, but you really are still a child. Having heard her tale, I know she died still a girl, and I know how she came to bear so much hatred for the world. But knowing and seeing are two very different things. The sight of her bony, adolescent body is a painful reminder that she never had a chance to know happiness, to know adulthood, before being robbed of her life. Well, I had assumed monster would be your first reaction, with a face and a body like this. Yo, the one skeleton hand? Morgana, I hate to tell you, you're badass. You're badass.
Howdy.
Hi, Spam. Welcome in. Spam, we're about to step into the final door here. You came at the perfect time. Thank you so much for the resub, Spam. That means a hell of a lot. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. How very sweet of you, Michelle. So tell me, what exactly do you mean to do now that you're here? Your ultimate goal was, as I understood it, to take Giselle back. But she's no longer here for me to return to you. She broke out of my cage and exhausted what remained of her soul to show herself to you. Well, I cannot perceive even a trace of her presence any longer. So I presume her soul had shattered, dissipated into nothing. No, she's right here beside me. Oh, is that so? You seem to believe as much anyway, which only makes your presence here a bigger mystery. Ah, I know. You want revenge. Well, I made you miserable while you were alive, and I continue to torment you in death. You entrusted me with Giselle's life, and I used her for my own ends. You must despise me. Hatred fills you. You want to curse me, to kill me. Well, my death could well mean the end of all of this. Shall I grant you that wish? She flicks a finger, and the next second a longsword clatters to the floor at my feet. Take the blade in your hands, and like the knight of old who executed the witch, pierce my heart with it. Do now what should have happened then. You always wanted to be a knight, didn't you? Go on, pick it up. Show me your revulsion, my dear. Morgana, I do have a reason for being here. I came to save you. Did you hit your head on the way up? You came to save who? I spent so long trying to look away, when I should have been trying to look deeper, to tell you the truth. Your constant chattering in the darkness evoked more than annoyance in me. I empathized with your loneliness, and I bear no hatred for you. It was my despair that brought you back to life, so that makes it my responsibility to end this. My own wish has given me all the redemption I need, my dear. Or should I be expecting another self-righteous lecture about how hatred does you no good? Brilliant, Michelle. Brilliant. Do you have any idea how absurdly presumptuous you're being, trying to force your idea of redemption onto someone who has no interest in it? If the tale you showed me was the whole truth, then I would have said you could revile those heartless men as much as you pleased. But I refuse to believe that's the whole story. The men I saw, beyond the first 3 doors, had genuine concerns and worries. They felt things, real, human emotions, even if those things ultimately led them down a path of destruction. Wanting to do something nice for the one you care about, being disgusted at things you've done, hiding your urges from those around you. You certainly couldn't call them good men, but they were real people with real conflicts. So you're saying I'm lying? Well, I can't say I blame you. Who would believe the word of a witch? Oh, I don't think you falsified your account, Morgana. The tragedy, no, the grisly reality that you described, well, I don't doubt any of that happened. You wouldn't be here otherwise. But I've learned something in my years. Reality exists from more than one perspective. Well, that doesn't change what happened. That two-faced young man deceived me, the beast severed my arm, and the greedy, power-hungry lord used me for his own personal gain. Events by themselves do not tell the whole story, only when you take into account their circumstances, what they thought and felt, their perspectives. Only then can you say you've reached the truth. Your point being, are you gonna march down to where their souls are and ask them for their perspective? Pfft, don't waste your breath. They'll only tell you what benefits themselves the most. Then we do it our way. We open the door to your past. And if I refuse, this is my domain, my world. It operates in accordance to my will. The door won't open unless I allow it to. Were you aware, Morgana, that I recovered my first memory in front of a mirror? You what? The same mirror Giselle used to practice her smile. And in all those hundreds of years, bits of her memory came to reside within it. Every time she stood before that mirror, she had me in her heart. And next, I saw one of my own memories play out in my bedchamber. It was the first day after we opened the windows, when she let the morning sun into my room. That day was a turning point in my life. And why are you telling me this? Because it means this world doesn't only belong to you. It's also hers and mine. And that is why she was able to break free. Your wish is, without question, the most powerful of anyone's here. And you have more authority over this place than anyone else. There's no denying your position as master of this mansion. But Giselle and I, we too have influence over this domain. I was the one who resurrected you, and she who served as your guide. So the door will appear, whether or not it is your will. Their souls reside here as well, and they may spin convenient tales, but the memories ingrained upon their souls can tell no lies. All the pieces are on the board. The door will open. Say the door does open. What does that change? Nothing those men may have thought or felt can take back what they did to me. This rotting, broken creature that they turned me into. I don't care what was going through their heads. They'll never have my forgiveness. My hatred is unwavering. My wish will not be undone so easily, and their souls shall suffer for all eternity. Before we begin, Morgana, let's get one last lingering question out of the way. And what might that be? Who the white-haired girl is? That's your lingering question. We've already established. That was you, Morgana. So in a desperate plea to deny that you came back as a woman, you're now trying to make me into her. That is perhaps the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. That was you, my dear, and do not avert your eyes. You must face reality. I'm not averting my eyes, and I'm not in denial. I have faith. Faith that I only ever made it back to this mansion once, when I awoke in the rocking chair beside the fireplace. Nevertheless, that hardly justifies accusing me of being that foolish girl. How could you possibly think I was her? Never have I not been present in these walls, not even while she was alive and in the claws of tragedy. My hair is not white, nor are my eyes red. And look at this horrid, festering face. How could I ever become her? How your soul appears is irrelevant in this case, Morgana. I will uncover the truth about you, things even you don't know. And if I can show that you were, in fact, the white-haired girl, in that moment, will your reality be rewritten? Well, if you're so confident, then be my guest. Find out for yourself just how little you're capable of. Oh. Tea leaves. Tea leaves. Yeah. Oh man, the bottom of this teacup. There must have been a hole in the tea bag. Sorry. Blackness fills the observation tower once more. Morgana fades into the distance, leaving me alone in the dark stream. It's a darkness I've seen, felt, and been consumed by numerous times since arriving at the mansion. But this time, I welcome it, praying that beyond it lies a truth with the power to release all the house's grip. This next tale has no narrator. I won't sit back and listen as someone recounts the path of fate for me. No, I have to find the path for myself this time. I don't know what awaits me beyond the black, but no matter what it may be, so long as I have the power to provide redemption, I must never put down my sword. Now, let us open the door. The final door. The final door. Sheesh! Here we go. Some steeped. Oh yeah, I steeped it pretty hardcore. What's up, Draconics? Hey, we're getting into crazy territory. I brought you some food. You have to eat something. You barely touched your food yesterday. Come on, please. Just leave it there. Her hands aren't bound. She can eat whenever she pleases. But, okay, so Man's Voice 1 has to be the Mel equivalent. Man's Voice 2 has to be Yukamasa. 3 has to be Jacopo, is my guess. She's not gonna last much longer. The boy has a point. If she won't eat, we lose our supply of blood. That's not what I meant. Leave it there. Well, we'll be back. I feel like I'm right. Just given their characterizations and how that dialogue fell. Do you really have to go? Yeah, things are pretty hectic right now. And when do you suppose you'll be back? Tomorrow, same time as today. And you'll have enough time to talk then? Will you? Yeah. Are you hiding something from me? You're acting kind of funny. You're my sister. I wouldn't keep anything from you. You're not yourself, though. What's so different about me? Well, you're not acting much like a prince. Ah, right. Of course. Don't worry, I'm still your prince. Same as always. Good night, Nellie. My princess. How did I end up in this mess? I never wanted this. All I wanted was a quiet life. Someone get me out of here. Take this thing somewhere far away. Tell me it's not all my fault. Oh God, I'm begging you, just make it all go away. Someone, anyone, get me out of here. Is that Maria? Oh, is Maria the nun? Okay. All right, we're putting it all together. Okay. Look, the stars. They're beautiful. Though with it so bright out, I worry someone might see us. Everyone's long gone. I hope so. Are you ashamed? A little. But I still want to be with you. Hi, Certheus. Have you ever considered leaving the convent? You can't just stop being a nun, you know. It's not that simple. I've made vows, sworn my life to the service of God. I wasn't aware. I don't know much about this land's traditions. If I were to leave the church, it would have to be in my next life. I'd like to be a normal girl, lead a normal life, get married, have kids, and before I know it, I'm an old lady. Aw, that's the line in the third door. No, you can't just hit me with this. It was an uneventful life, but it was the best I could have asked for. That's my dream. That sounds very peaceful. I hope we can be together in our next lives, too. Have a nice, quiet life together. What's up, Franco? It'll be a city on the water, looking out over a beautiful, glimmering emerald sea, the blue sky spreading as far as the eye can see, the sound of the seabirds squalling by the port. The two of us sitting shoulder to shoulder, just looking out over the city. Doesn't that sound wonderful? It certainly does. I'd love that. No, was that Pauline? That was Pauline. Maria didn't say the uneventful life thing. Pauline was the uneventful life. So that was Pauline as a nun. Got it. Okay. It's been a long time. Lurking from work, I'll be home soon enough. Awesome. The Harvest Festival. On the day of the festival. Here we go, everybody. 3 days until her death. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out. No narrator this time. Wake up. I need the names. Please, wake up. Come on. Open your eyes. Michelle. Ooh, what are you doing, Michelle? Okay. He's here. He's here in person. All right, sick. Oh man. Oh, thank you. There's a shit ton of tea leaves. I steeped it too hard. Oh no. And so you gotta like rinse the whole thing out. Okay. Thank you. Oh, Draconics, this isn't close to done. There's about 12 hours left. This isn't even close to done. And also, no. Any game that we beat for the rest of this year, we will be rolling marbles soon. Yeah, this isn't close to done. I know how much is left in this game. I don't know the story, but I know I've looked at so many long plays of this game to get like an understanding. While this is the final door, this is the longest door of the game. And I'm sure Franco can attest to that as well. But Franco binged the shit out of it. Franco probably got here and did the rest of this entire game in one sitting. He probably just sat there until 5:30 in the morning and just went, the final door, I'm in. Lock me in. I'm going for it. But yeah, there's a decent amount left. It's so bright. I'm outside. The light feels like needles in my eyes. The first thing I see beyond the mansion's darkness is blinding light. Yeah, I know this is going to take a little while. The sun glares mercilessly overhead. A gentle breeze blows past, and I can hear the birds chirping from several different directions. Each breath I take fills my lungs with the scent of earth and grass. So much time has passed since I've been in the light. I almost feel like I'm alive again. No, not almost. What's going on? What on earth is this? Is this the era Morgana lived? Michelle. Huh? Okay, cool. Just hit the song. Just do it. Oh, thank goodness. You can hear me. Well, good morning, Master. I hope you slept well. Giselle, is that voice really you? Oh, I swear it's me, 100%. Not that mean old phony. So don't you worry. No, I believe it's you. I just was not expecting to be able to hear you here. Well, I did say I would always be by your side. I'm relieved. But where are you, Giselle? I can't see you anywhere. Well, I'm not exactly sure myself. You don't know? I don't know how to describe it. It's pitch dark all around me, like a black smoke, churning in the darkness. Feels a lot like inside the mansion, but I don't think I'm actually in the mansion. So you're still trapped in the void, then? I can see a shimmering light off in the distance, through the fog, and I can hear sounds coming from that direction. It's like the outside world is leaking through the light. I can see the trees rustling, hear birds singing. I can't see you, though, so I assumed I was seeing through your eyes. And I thought I'd try getting your attention. So that means you can see everything I can. Seems so, though I don't think I can see quite as clearly as you. I wish you could be here to feel this, too. Experience it in my place, even. It's a bizarre sensation. While I could see and feel the worlds through the other doors, it was strictly in the capacity of an observer. We were merely watching, not actually present in the tales. But this time, well, it's like I've been resurrected and dropped into the world as a participant. Thank you so much. Love you. Bye. It's all so vivid. Everything the mansion lacked, it's all here. And I can feel it so clearly. Get this set up, 1 sec. Okay. I wish you could have been the one to experience this. It's okay, Michelle. I know you'll dispel this darkness I'm in, won't you? I will. Well, I'm more than just happy being able to hear your voice. And being able to see what you see. Well, it's like a miracle. I too am glad to know you're there. To have the chance to hear your voice again. Thank you so much for saving me. If you hadn't shown up, well, I wouldn't be here. Oh no, I should be thanking you. I was overjoyed to learn how much you really cared about me. There are so many things I want to say right now. So many things I want you to know. So many thank yous and so many I love yous. Hey now, is that really the best response you've got? Surely you can do better than that. You're embarrassing me. Well, I am somewhat disappointed by one thing, though. I can't get any hugs or kisses since I'm not there in person. Oh, come on, you're not very good at this, are you? And you're not very good at picking up on how much you're embarrassing me. Well, I'd expect at the very least a me too. We should start by figuring out when and where exactly this is. You're not even trying, are you? I'm doing the best I can. Please, don't ask any more than this from me. It's okay, though. I might not be able to see you, but we're together either way. You know, Michelle, I think I might be able to help you, too. While I can't be there in person, I can give you ideas. Another point of view when you're not sure about something. She's my Colonel Campbell. Michelle, you have to crawl in order to pick up the landmines. If you just walk, they'll explode. With the two of us together, we'll find a way through this. Yes, we will. So where to begin? What do you say we get our bearings and list out exactly what we need to take care of? It's not a bad idea. I'm a bit frazzled at the moment, to tell you the truth. Frazzled is such a good word. Frazzled is a my dad word. My dad loves the word frazzled and loves being a little bit frazzled. Are you feeling a little bit frazzled? That's a my dad word. All right, I'm gonna take this tea bag out here. What? Why? Well, I had assumed we would just be observers like with the other doors, searching their memories for clues. Right, dang it, Giselle, why are you taking my place? I never expected to actually be thrown into their era. True. It's not at all like the other doors. No matter how the rules may change, I'm seeing this through to the end. If our guess is correct, and we have arrived at Morgana's past, then we need to uncover the truth behind those events. I fell asleep in the bathtub. Oh no. It's a good thing I set an alarm to remember to refill your tea. Well, you needed it. I hope you had a cozy tub rest. Hope it was nice. Or rather, the three men's circumstances. What they felt. What drove them. My gut tells me there's something to be found there that even Morgana doesn't know. I could be wrong, and it's possible that even if I am right, what we find won't do anything to quell her hatred. But we won't be talking her out of it. That's for sure. Words won't break through that kind of animosity. We need something bigger. Something she could have never have imagined. Something that will turn her entire worldview on its head. Well, the white-haired girl might be a good place to start. She showed up at the mansion again and again, as though led there by some supernatural force. And she was involved with all three men in some way. I can't think of anyone else with such deep ties to both the mansion and the men. But at the same time, I have a hard time convincing myself that the Morgana we know and the white-haired girl could be the same person. They're about as different as two people can be, which actually leads me to believe there's something there. There must be something. Some secret we haven't figured out yet that we can use. So let's find it. It won't be easy, If we are in the past, though, I wonder, maybe we could change it. Oh, this could be a huge chance for us. Change the past. Yeah, we could prevent Morgana's death, or we could stop whatever led them down this path. Well, there's an idea. If it's actually possible, maybe we can do something. The question is this world really? Well, now I'm getting kind of pumped. I've got my game face on and I'm ready to do this. Well, it doesn't do much good if no one can see it. It's a figure of speech. Okay, first things first, we need to find the mansion. Morgana should be at the top of the observation tower, and the three men shouldn't be too far off either. So the question is, where are we? Do you recognize the surroundings at all? I never really left the mansion, so I'm not especially familiar with the lay of the land. Give me a little spin, would ya? As she requests, I slowly spin around in a circle, and through the dense woods I spot a cluster of what appears to be stone formations. Squinting to get a better look, I realize they're buildings. It's decently far off, but it appears to be the edge of a city. I think that might be the village I stayed at for a while. It's a bit big for a village. Don't you remember what Amade said about the village's history? Amade, that bastard. Michelle, you didn't think something uncharacteristically vulgar just now, did you? Wouldn't dream of it. Wouldn't dream of it. Yes, I remember. He said it was once a much larger and that it was destroyed in a single week by the witch's curse. Except rather than a curse, it was probably disease. If that's the same city, then it fits with what Morgana said had happened. I believe he also said something about there being a large bridge on the outskirts of the city, and that following the path from there would lead to the mansion. So, let's head down to the city. All right. You don't sound very enthusiastic. Are you nervous you might have to talk to someone? Don't worry, you've got me here. Don't treat me like I'm antisocial. You're not? No, that's not what's bothering me. It's something about this whole thing. It feels off. This world we're in. Never mind. I'm probably overthinking things, but now's not the time for that. We need to get moving. Let's go. Rather than waste time fretting over details, we need to get to the mansion, like she said. Everything else comes after that. With each step, I can feel the earth compressing beneath my feet, the grass flattening. As I weave my way through the trees toward the city, the sensation of having a living, flesh and blood body slowly returns. There he is. Shit. Let me take a sip of this fucking tea. There he is. What's up, Mel? How you doing, buddy? Long time no see. It's still very hot. A white-haired man just appeared out of nowhere. Huh? And he's talking to himself. Oh, I gotta get away before he does something. Wait, hold it right there, Mel. You don't get to call me crazy and then just run off. How do you know my name? How? Well, why wouldn't I? It's got a bounce to it. We were just in the mansion together. Huh? Mansion? What are you talking about? Right. He hasn't become the shadow in the mansion yet. I doubt I would forget seeing someone as unusual as you. Who are you? And where did you come from? Where? I'd like to know that myself.
Say something, Michelle. He's not getting any less suspicious of you. You have to come up with some way to break the tension.
Well, improvisation isn't exactly my strong suit. I was sleeping in a tree.
Oh, it sure looked like you just popped out of nowhere.
You imagined it. It was so sudden and your mind misinterpreted what you saw. Is that too much of a stretch?
Yeah, you're right. I must have been seeing things. People can't just appear out of thin air. On nice days like this, I'll sometimes climb a tree and take a nap too. And then I roll over and fall flat on my face. So I can relate.
Michelle, napping in a tree. Oh, I can't even imagine it. Me neither. Also, it would seem that, like Morgana's, I'm the only one who can hear Giselle's voice.
Oh, but that doesn't explain how you know my name.
You look a lot like an acquaintance of mine. Imagine my surprise when it turns out you have the same name, too. That's definitely pushing it.
Oh, yeah, that happens to me every now and then, too. Jeez, you had me spooked for a second there.
Well, on one hand, I'm glad he bought it. I feel perhaps he's a little too trusting. He's the kind of guy who just keeps on walking when he runs across something out of the ordinary, pretending he didn't see a thing. Well, not the most admirable of traits, but we are in the clear.
I assume you're from the city then, if you're out here?
Actually, no, I'm a wanderer of sorts.
Oh, huh. Oh, did you come by to see the Harvest Festival then?
Harvest Festival?
You don't know about it then. Oh, 3 days from now, we're holding a festival at the church to celebrate the spring harvest.
3 days. Morgana died when the bell tolled noon on the day of the festival, which means she's got that much time left.
Well, this will be the first time we've held the festival, so we're hoping to make it a big event, something really memorable.
And a young girl dying behind the scenes of this seemingly pleasant celebration. If her death is 3 days from now, well, that might give us enough time to do something about it. Could I ask you to show me the way to the church? I'd like to join in on the festivities.
Sure, yeah, of course. The church's doors are open to all, friends and family and wanderers alike. It's not far. Follow me.
Thank you. Lil Majora's Mask? Didn't occur to me until now. But this really is a strange experience. This is a boy from a completely different time period who I would have never had the opportunity to meet. If he's here, then presumably the other two are as well. Which means Morgana's wish for their reconstruction was actually granted. This Mel doesn't seem like any different a person than the one I observed through the first door. Yet he played a part in Morgana's imprisonment. I have trouble believing he would voluntarily involve himself, though.
I was scared for a minute there. That could have gone a lot worse. Plus, we managed to make contact with Mel in record time.
She's interacted with him, and the others, before, so I guess this doesn't feel as strange to her.
Oh, you don't want to hear him. You don't want him to hear you talking to yourself again. That's why you're not saying anything to me, isn't it?
Actually, I think I can talk to you without speaking. Can you hear me?
How are you doing that?
I have a lot of experience talking to ghosts.
That
that really drives home how bizarre things were for you in that mansion. Were you not in similar circumstances when it was you and Morgana together?
Yeah, now that you mention it.
Huh, what a bizarre time we both had in that mansion. You're just now realizing this. So, what's your impression of him?
My impression? Well, that he's the same Mel as always.
In a little more detail?
Well, he's an amicable young man. Nice enough to show a complete stranger around.
I agree. In Morgana's version of the story, he betrayed her. But he doesn't seem like the kind of person who would enthusiastically do something so malicious. He had to have had some reason. And we need to figure out what that was. The question is, how do we go about it? We hardly have enough time to earn his trust and convince him to tell us himself. I'll just have to put the knowledge I already have to good use.
Oh, that reminds me.
Something that might explain it?
No, about Morgana. When you were alive, she was always right there with you like I am now, right?
Whenever it struck her fancy, yeah. She didn't seem to care when or where. She would just start talking whenever she felt like it.
Whenever.
Well, for the most part, yeah, anytime she wanted. Giselle?
You don't have to worry about that with me. I know when to keep my mouth shut. Promise.
What?
You said you feel like you're alive again, right?
Well, my 5 senses all seem to be in working order.
Which means you'll also be getting hungry, tired, sleepy, and you'll, well, you know. You'll have to go to the bathroom. I'll be polite. I'll close my eyes and I'll plug my ears while you're doing it.
Thanks? Who'll possess her to bring that up? Does she even realize what she's saying?
Oh, gosh, no, I'm red as a tomato.
That answers that. Well, moving right along, we need to discuss how we're going to go about this.
Right, that.
The Harvest Festival is our deadline, which doesn't give us very much time. We need a plan for when we arrive at the mansion.
How about we spill their secret? Tell everyone about the girl they've got locked up in the tower and force them to set her free. Surely they wouldn't stand for that.
Perhaps. But would anyone believe me?
Oh.
If I walked in and said I came from the future and that I knew what was going to happen, would anyone actually buy that?
Sure, with enough convincing.
Even if I did manage to convince them, the tower door was locked in Morgana's rendition of the tale, and you need 3 keys to get inside. Mel should have one of them, but stealing his alone won't be enough to get into that tower.
True.
And if Giselle is right and we can save Morgana and change the future, then that would indeed solve everything. But something about this whole situation still doesn't sit right with me. I have to do more than just set her free of that tower. I have to find the truth as well, as I initially set out to do. Regardless, I would like to try and stay on everyone's good side as much as possible for now.
Okay, I'll do whatever I can to help.
I appreciate it. I mean, as you know, conversation is not exactly my strong suit.
Which means it's my job to hit the brakes whenever you say something stupid.
It's a bit too late if I've already said it.
Anyway, step 1 is to get ourselves into the mansion. We can't hope to make contact with the other 2 men, much less to get Morgana out of there if we're not staying nearby.
Well, I'll do what I can.
We're almost there. See the big building in the distance? That's the church.
It is the same mansion, as I suspected.
Seeing it now, knowing what horrible things happened there, it's so disheartening.
Are happening, as we speak. In the tower we see in the distance, Morgana's locked up, all alone.
Well, I wish I could just march in there and set her free.
getting into the tower were our only goal, we could probably force our way in with a little work.
Is something the matter?
Mel. I could probably overpower him and get his key.
Hello?
But the other two, that almost certainly wouldn't work for...
Hey, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, sorry, I was just lost in thought.
Seems kind of strange, doesn't it?
What does?
I mean, it doesn't look like much of a church. At a glance, you'd think it was some noble's estate.
Oh, so yeah, so it does. I've spent so long in there it never even occurred to me.
I was pretty surprised when I first saw it myself. A peculiar place, all told. There's a chapel inside the mansion with this gorgeous stained glass window. It's quite the sight.
Do you know why it was built like that?
I'm not actually sure myself, no. Anyway, I'll show you to the chapel. The Saintess should be there too, so I can introduce you.
The Saintess?
You've never heard of her? Everyone around here knows her. She's a nun at the church. Everyone calls her the Saintess. She's practically her own religious figure.
Oh, he's not talking about Morgana.
You'll just have to see for yourself. Come on.
All right. It's a long stroll. Give him a second to make it past the courtyard. On our way to the mansion, we passed through a courtyard of sorts. When I lived there, the area was overgrown with weeds. Apparently, they keep it in better condition in this era. Following Mel's lead, we head through the chapel entrance. Oh my. I'm at a loss for words when I see what lies on the other side of those all too familiar doors. While it was barely recognizable as a place of worship in my memory, just 2 columns of battered pews and some piles of rubble, the room I'm looking at now is unequivocally a chapel. So this is what it used to look like. I wonder how far back this is from when we lived. Well, it has to be more than a decade or 2. Maybe 100 years or more? The views and beliefs about the world prevalent in our time are not so different than those of this time. Perhaps the chapel was destroyed in the aftermath of the Harvest Festival. When I was first sent to the mansion, there were signs that repairs had been attempted. That stained glass window is behind the pulpit, I'm guessing, though we can't see it from here. And right next to it is the door to the observation tower.
Ah, there she is. There's no priest here. She runs the church. You'll want to talk to her first if you're planning to participate in the Harvest Festival, and I'll go fetch her for you.
Whisking his way between the pews, the boy disappears into the back of the chapel, returning with a nun in tow. And when I see her, my face twists for a brief moment. Good afternoon. You came to see the festival, I hear. It's wonderful to have you. Is that who I think it is? I'm all but certain at this point that all the major players from behind the 3 doors are present here. Not just the 3 men whose shadows remain in the mansion, but also the women who were important parts of their lives. Though dressed differently, the way she speaks and the way she holds herself resembles the woman killed by her lover behind the second door. They're all connected. What we thought were 3 separate tales all stretch back to a single point in time before our own.
Is there something the matter?
No, I was just thinking how unusual it is for one nun to be managing an entire church all by herself.
Oh, yes, that is the usual reaction from new visitors. Even though I think this assignment is a bit over my head.
Assignment?
Well, I was at another church before this one, a smaller building, and I wasn't the only nun. But the lord of the land ordered me to transfer to a new, larger church he was opening, so here I am.
The Lord.
There's plenty of space on the property, more than enough to provide shelter for orphaned children and to aid the sick.
It seems rather vacant, from what I've seen.
Yes, about that. We used to take people in, but circumstances have made that difficult as of late.
What kind of circumstances?
It's not something I can discuss with an outsider. I'm sorry.
I'm guessing it has to do with Morgana's imprisonment here.
Do you think she knows about Morgana?
I would guess not. The men swore to keep it between the three of them.
So she's being forced to oversee the mansion completely oblivious of what's happening here.
Which isn't to say she's not connected to it in some way. If she is the girl from the second tale, then she should be close with...
Is something troubling you?
No. My apologies. I got lost in thought.
You don't look it, but you're actually a bit of a daydreamer, aren't you?
Daydreamer?
Mel would fit that description much better.
Mel would fit that description much better.
What? Why? Do I really look like that much of an airhead? Ooh, I can see that. Someone has to watch out for him or he's likely to lose his head in the clouds. I really don't think I'm that spacey. I'm not trying to say you're not spacey, I just feel like I've got to keep one eye on you at all times. It's not like what I imagine having a little brother would be like. I'm an oldest child, you know. Oh, what's the big deal? You don't want a big sister? Well, I want you to be my little brother. I don't want to be just a capital S sister to you. That's so stiff and formal. No, I want to be your sister. I'm a little old to be playing make-believe. Oh, come on.
Well, they're quite friendly with one another, it would seem.
Oh, I know. Why don't you become her brother then?
What?
Will you?
I will not. Besides, I'm clearly the oldest one here.
Oh, why not? I don't think it matters who's older than who. You don't really act all that old anyway.
I have at least 10 years on you.
Your youngest child insecurity is showing.
But insecurity?
You two are pretty good friends, huh?
We can discuss the veracity of that claim later. I would like to ask you a favor.
What is it? I'll gladly help with anything I can.
Could I perhaps borrow a room until the day of the Harvest Festival? I don't have anywhere to stay or a source of income for that matter, and I know it would be taking advantage of your generosity, but I only mean to intrude for a few days.
Oh, I would be more than happy to offer you a place to stay at any other time. But right now, I can't let you stay here. I'm so sorry.
Oh, damn. So much for that.
Don't let one little no stop you. Keep pushing. Put on a show. Earn her sympathy. She's a lady of the cloth. If you make her feel bad for you, she'll offer you her aid.
Put on a show? You expect me to act? I'm having another episode. And I was so sure this church would be able to help.
Oh, that's not going to convince anyone.
Quiet, you.
He was perfectly fine on our walk here.
Shut your mouth, boy.
As I said, we did once offer a place of respite for the ailing and needy, but regrettably for the time being, we're unable to take anyone in. What I can do, though, is give you some medicine. Since we can't let people stay here with the Lord's generous assistance, we've been handing out medicine instead.
So all you do here, then, is give people medication?
Yes, I suppose that's what it boils down to. I'm honestly not sure why we're not allowed to offer shelter right now, but we are still able to provide assistance to those in need, so I assume it's just a temporary measure and we'll be able to take people in again before long. And with how much he's done for the church, well, it's not really my place to complain about his decisions. I truly am sorry. I hope you understand. I'm supposed to ask for a tithe in exchange normally, but just this once, it's yours, free of charge.
I actually did. Tea went down the wrong pipe. I have a crazy tickle in my throat right here from that. I was mid-sip and then I went like this to start the cough thing. Oh my god. Could you tell me more about this medicine, please?
It's called Saint's Blood, and it'll cure any disease.
Saint's blood? Oh no.
Oh, it's not real blood, of course. That's just what it's called. It sure sounds divine, doesn't it?
No. That's not true.
Huh?
It is real blood.
What do you... Sorry to butt in. Do you mind if I bring him back to my room? I don't think I mentioned it, but he is an old friend of mine, and we've got a lot of catching up to do.
All right.
Hey, come on, this way. Well, that sure quite got the reaction out of him. Now he's incredibly leery of you.
When she mentioned the blood, well, I couldn't stop myself. I probably should have kept my mouth shut, though. Mel doesn't say a word the entire way. His smile has retreated, and there's a hint of fear lurking beneath his now stony expression. I spend the trek through the mansion's corridors pondering how to answer the questions I know are coming, how to solve the problem I had put myself in. We enter a bedroom, presumably his, and he closes the door behind us. I can see the distrust in his eyes as he glares at me.
I have to ask. Who exactly are you? Why did you say that back there? That saint's blood is actual blood?
In response to his pressing, Oh man, I don't know. I tread carefully. We don't have much time, but it's in our best interest to tread carefully. There's too much we don't know yet. It would not be wise to make a rash decision. And with him as tense and suspicious as he is right now, it won't be easy to get his key, or to persuade him to tell us how he ended up here. Furthermore, my experiences with the Three Shades tells me that if I'm not careful, I could be putting myself in unimaginable danger. A brief flash of what might happen had I spoken too soon crosses my mind, sending a chill down my spine. If I want to get Mel on my side, I'm going to need something more, something decisive. I'm so sorry. Something that'll convince him he needs to come clean and set Morgana free. Wait, that chill rushing down his spine, is that If I told him everything here, is that one of the endings? Regardless, being cautious isn't going to mean much if I can't get them to let us stay in the mansion. We need to be nearby to keep an eye on things, to gather information. How to go about that, though?
Assuming he's not voluntarily involved, maybe all we have to do is ask for his help in setting Morgana free, and he'll work with us.
Perhaps. Being so direct will only invite more suspicion, but she's probably on the right track. When I met his shadow, he was burdened with great regret. He begged me to help him. My remark about the saint's blood was based on stories I once heard about a person whose blood was said to have healing properties.
Stories?
Maybe they haven't made it out this far. I don't know. But they tell of a girl born in a distant village, a saint, and the daughter of God. I thought that perhaps the nun might be the saint spoken of in the stories, and I was hoping for the opportunity to see a miracle performed with my own eyes.
I have to say, you looked more angry than excited.
I didn't hide it very well, I guess. Maybe it appeared that way to you, but I've never had a very friendly face.
If you say so, as long as you're telling the truth.
I myself have to wonder, why did my remarks seem to bother you so much?
What?
Is there something more to this saint's blood than you are telling me?
No.
Something that would make you want to get me alone and interrogate me.
No, there's nothing. I just, I didn't want to scare anyone with all the talk of blood, since there's not actually any in it. And I didn't know about the stories, so... It's just medicine. I swear.
As you say.
It's got nothing to do with the saint in your stories.
To change the subject, could I ask you to convince the nun to allow me to stay here?
Huh? Weren't you listening? We can't take anyone in right now.
Which is why I'm asking for your recommendation. You live on the premises, don't you?
I'm more a supervisor of sorts.
Then you should have some say in the matter.
Why?
Until the Harvest Festival. All I'm asking.
Why not get a room at an inn? If you need money, I'll spare you some coin.
I must stay in this mansion. Dude, I can't. This tickle in my throat will not go away. And doing Mel's voice is, obviously not helping my matters. Oh, jeez.
But why?
Those are my instructions.
What?
You know the stained glass window in the chapel behind the pulpit? I was named after the Archangel Michael depicted there. The angel came to me in a vision, instructing me to watch over the festival here.
From where you were standing, you couldn't possibly have seen the window in that much detail. You couldn't. Oh, I get it. You've been to the church before, and you're just acting like you haven't.
There's a metal door, off to the side, leading to an observation tower.
Yeah, you can see the tower from outside.
Inside is a long, spiral staircase, not made of stone, but wood. And there's a single door at the top of those stairs.
How? What are you really here for? All that vision stuff is a lie.
I'm not here to cause you any trouble. In fact, I'm on your side.
You show up out of nowhere, and you expect me to believe your nonsense?
All I ask is for you to allow me to stay until the day of the festival. And if you can do that for me, then I'll make you the promise I could not before. I'll have not forgotten your pleas for salvation. I know you want to be free.
Let me guess. You saw that in a vision too?
If you want to call it that, then you can.
I've never once asked for you to save me. You're mad. But fine. I've got nothing to hide anyway. If I say you're a friend, well, the Saintess should be willing to accommodate you. Wait, I already told her you were my friend, didn't I? Okay, I'll try and persuade her. I don't know what your deal is, but try not to cause any trouble, okay? For your own sake.
I won't.
Only until the festival. You're not getting another day out of me or her. And this isn't your home, so don't act like it is.
Of course. Thank you.
You know, I never did get your name.
It's Michelle.
Oh, right. After the Archangel, Michael. Just like you said. Well, I've never really cared much for Michael, to be honest. He weighs your soul in one hand on his perfectly balanced scales and then delivers punishment with the sword in his other. He's not an angel of salvation. Out of curiosity, could you perhaps be... Never mind. It's turned into a bit of a storage area, but there's an open room you can use. I'll show you the way.
I appreciate your courtesy. Well, this is just lovely. There are cracks in the ceiling and the walls peeling off. There is a bed, at least, but it's coated in dust. This was a storeroom when I lived here, as I recall.
I'm sorry about the condition. I didn't choose a bad room for you on purpose, I promise. If you want to sleep somewhere more comfortable, well, you're not going to find that here.
It's not a problem. I'm grateful to have a room at all.
If you say so. Well, I have work to do, so I should be on my way. I'll talk to the Saintess, as promised. I imagine she'll make supper for you at some point, but keep your crazy talk to yourself around her.
I'll make a note of it. Thank you.
See ya. We made it work. Somehow. It's a lot of pressure being under that much suspicion, huh? My heart was pounding the whole time. And that Archangel Michael sent me on a vision stuff? Well, I never expected you to go there. Why'd you tell him that anyway?
Because I didn't think telling him I know the future and I need your help to change it would have gone very well. Besides, those who yearn for redemption have a tendency to latch on to the spiritual. I thought taking advantage of that would work to our benefit.
You know, I bet you'd make a pretty good con artist, Michelle.
I did what I thought was necessary.
I know. Besides, you have every intention of keeping your promise, don't you?
Whether or not Mel can be saved is up to him. I will lend him my hand, though.
Oh, you say it's all on him, but deep down you know you're on his side. We're complete strangers to this Mel. I can't bring myself to think of him that way. We just met today, but it feels like reuniting with an old friend. He's the same old Mel.
And you were actually there, a part of his life, which I imagine makes that sentiment all the stronger.
You don't feel the same way?
I don't think of him as a total stranger. No. However, nothing. I was about to say something incredibly cynical, but I caught myself.
What?
It's nothing. Don't worry about it.
Well, if you say so.
I was always the one with nothing to offer, powerless to be of anyone's help. So if anything's motivating me, it's not concern for the boy, but a desire to prove that someone like me can do something.
It didn't take much arm twisting to get him to give us a room. So who knows? Maybe he'll come over to our side easier than either of us expect.
Him giving us a room was not simply out of kindness. Keeping me nearby allows him to keep an eye on me. He doesn't trust me, but he also doesn't know enough about me to decide what to do yet. He needs time, and doing this gives him that time. So if he decides keeping me around is not to his advantage, he will act accordingly.
Do you really think he'll do anything to hurt you? Mel's a kind boy and, well, to be frank, I don't think he has the spine for it.
It's hard to say. But even if he doesn't, we still have the 2 other men to worry about. Nevertheless, his cooperation will undoubtedly be the easiest of the 3 to gain. We were fortunate to run into him first.
What makes you say that?
Did you ever have a chance to see the shadows trapped in the mansion?
Shadows? I might have. But around the time Hayden Rhodes passed away, I wasn't really there anymore. I stopped thinking. I stopped trying to make sense of the things inhabiting the house. I'd become merely another part of the cursed mansion. I was only able to converse with them after I had reclaimed myself. I suppose, much like the rules differ between the realms of the living and the dead, so too do they differ for those who have lost grip on reality. As I was searching for a way to get you out of the tower, I encountered and spoke with the 3 men's shadows. Of the 3, Mel was the least threatening. He bears a great deal of regret and yearns for someone to save him. I heard him muttering, "This isn't what I wanted." He doesn't want to be involved in this. Someone else is holding the reins. My first guess would be the Lord, but regardless, they're not equals in this endeavor. If he wants out, then maybe he would have agreed to help if we told him we're here to save Morgana.
Oh, carelessly revealing our hand at this stage did not seem wise. It would have never gotten to this point if it were so easy to stop.
So I guess our first task is to earn Mel's trust.
Morgana's death is in 3 days. We have until then to get all 3 keys.
It won't be easy. I mean, we weren't even present in this world until today.
Exactly. We have no one to vouch for us, no one who even knows who we are. But we have knowledge, quite a bit of it in fact. We not only know what happens in this era, but you showed me their next lives as well. And so from that, we can deduce how they might behave, and to whom they might have ties.
You're right. We do. We know things we should have no way of knowing. And we can use that knowledge to our advantage. Their various interpersonal relationships are where we can get our edge, I think. Well, they each have their reasons for locking Morgana up. And if I'm right, they're doing it for other people. It's these powerful bonds driving them. Mel's driving force would be his sister, for instance.
Are they mere bonds, or is it fate that ties them together? You're right. We should find and talk to his sister. Mel's more likely to act if it's coming from her than from us.
I agree. If his darling sister tells him to stop, well, he won't have any reason to continue his involvement.
Knowing how the first tale ended makes me slightly uncertain. But for now, we can work under the assumption that he does genuinely care for her.
What do you want to bet she's somewhere nearby? I mean,
she will be. It was her death that sparked the chaos on the day of the Harvest Festival.
Oh, right. It was. No, you're exactly right. What I was gonna say is that people tend to keep those they care most about close by. It would appear I have a bad tendency to focus too much on the facts. That was entirely unnecessary of me. Giselle did not need to be reminded of that. I'm sorry.
Huh? What for?
For being careless with my words. Inconsiderate.
Oh, no need to apologize for the truth. Besides, you and considerate? Like oil and water.
And today you're the fire to my oil.
All right. We have 3 days to stop this tragedy, so let's get to work.
Let's. We'll probably have more luck asking than just searching for her. If we can't find Mel, the nun might know.
Off we go.
As I step into the chapel, I see an old man waving to the nun as he heads for the door. The man is practically beaming, and judging by the vial in his hand, he's happy about more than simply having the chance to see her. Is that Saint's blood? According to Morgana's account, a disease began spreading through the city at the Harvest Festival, eventually eradicating the population. In a time like this, where medical knowledge is so limited, a plague would be almost unstoppable, and the sight of so many people dying so quickly could appear to them the work of a demon or a curse.
We come from the future, so we know just how dangerous this is. But they have no idea.
Morgana described it as a tale that could only take place in an era of miracles and spirituality. And about that, she couldn't be more right.
Could we maybe warn everyone against taking the medicine? I assume the sickness was caused by them ingesting the blood at any rate. It's not medicine they're being given.
But bottled disease, like some sick joke. If we could convince them to stop taking Saint's blood, then maybe that would prevent the city from being destroyed. But the fact that it's being distributed in the house of the Lord and peddled as a miracle cure plays right into their deep-rooted spirituality. Would it even be possible to convince them otherwise? And besides, it's not them we came here to save. But no, that's veering too far off of our intended path. We need to find the truth and to save Morgana's soul. Putting ourselves out like that is only going to get us unwanted attention, make people suspicious. We don't have that kind of time.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. It's just knowing what they're doing to themselves. I couldn't help but think that maybe there was something that we could do, especially considering how it all turns out.
I understand the sentiment, or rather, I understand your reasoning. But for me, Morgana takes priority over any of them. And you over everything. Releasing Morgana's soul should save yours as well, Giselle. And if we can eliminate the mansion's darkness, then you won't have to be trapped as it's made. I have no interest in being the hero of the masses. Let's go ask about Mel's sister then.
Okay.
I turn my gaze back toward the nun to find her kneeling in one of the pews. She bows her head and begins to whisper a prayer. There's no one else in the chapel, so now's the perfect time to ask. Hearing me approach, she falls silent and turns to face me, wearing her usual disarming smile.
Hello, Michelle. Mel was just here, and he told me everything. Can't turn away a friend of Mel's now, can we? I'm sorry for turning you down earlier.
Oh, it's no worries. I did a poor job of explaining myself.
So did you need something? Oh, let me guess, medicine?
No, I'm in perfectly good health. Oh, I figured you were lying.
I can ask her about Saint's blood some other time. And while I have a number of questions about the man she's close with too, right now Mel's sister is priority. Are you familiar with Mel's younger sister? She has flaxen hair, much like him.
Oh, you mean Nellie. Are you her friend too?
I would say we're more...
You're better off just saying you're friends.
Friends. Yes, friends.
What about her?
I would like to speak with her, and I was wondering if you might know where I could find her.
Oh, Nellie should be down at the cottage, I believe.
The cottage?
Yep. That's where I stay too. I don't sleep in the mansion myself.
So you don't live here, but only work here?
Right. For one, there are men who live here. The Lord likes to show up on occasion too, and so we can't have a nun wandering around while he's here.
So you and Nellie, you live together then?
Yep, we have for about 6 months or so. Ever since she and Mel showed up. I wanted to let her stay with her brother, but since this is technically church property, we have to keep the boys and the girls separate.
I see.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear Nellie's got a friend, though.
What?
She's not from around here, so she doesn't have many acquaintances. And with how sick she can get, she doesn't spend too much time outside. Which is a shame because she is a sweet little girl. I'm her friend, of course, but, well, I've got responsibilities. I can only be around so often. So I'm sure she'd be delighted to have someone else to talk to.
Well, it would be my pleasure. Could you tell me the way to the cottage then?
Oh, sure. It's not that far from here. You go down.
The directions I got from the nun lead me to a place I know from my own time. It's the same building where the man who had been ordered to keep me under surveillance stayed. Cool. Sunlight seeps relentlessly through the trees, and I find myself having to look down at my feet as I follow the path. Blindingly bright. Painful.
How are you holding up, Michelle?
Well, I'll be all right. The sun's past its peak in a few hours. It won't be nearly as bad.
Well, don't push yourself, okay?
Okay. The trek is a reminder of just how inconvenient my body always was. Having this chance to experience being alive again comes with both the good parts and the bad. But now is hardly the time to complain about my sensitivity to the sun. Dude, this part's really cool. This part's almost like it's like a reverse murder mystery. It's like a saving mystery. Like we're not getting to the bottom of it is you know what it is? It's Ghost Trick. This part's Ghost Trick. This part is like averting death, putting all the pieces together, and at the very end, you know, fate changed. Hopefully. I mean hopefully, given the circumstances of the whole thing, you never know, but it does remind me a lot of Ghost Trick, showing up in this world and not really like having a bearing like Sissel did, and kind of becoming yourself and finding like the secrets and answers and the looping different, you know, characters that you thought were one person are actually another, and they have different relationships and meanings to who you knew from before. Obviously, this is building on near 40 hours of storytelling before it. But this final door, really, I mean, it's a fun detective spin. This is the 7th door, the final door. This is, I mean, it flashed on screen as the final door. So I believe it's 7, maybe 8, 7. I don't know. We had Nellie Mel, Yukimasa Pauline, Jacopo Maria, fake Giselle Michelle, real Giselle Michelle, Morgana, real Michelle might have been a door. So maybe this is door 8. I'm not sure. It's the last one. Whatever it is, it's the last one. Doesn't really matter. It's either 7 or 8. And this is like the culmination of all the stories and more or less the truth of all of these character motivations and, people that we've endeared ourselves to or were revulsed by or whatever it might be across the whole course of the thing. Now we're learning their roots and their true identities and their true motivations. It's really cool. It's not long before we reach a clearing, a small cottage surrounded by a small garden coming into view. Crouching by a flower bed, picking flowers, is the flaxen-haired girl. Are you Nellie? Though several details of her appearance don't match my memory of her, she still has that distinct hair. It could be nobody else. This Nellie is considerably thinner and looks rather frail. The effects of her being ill, I presume.
Who are you?
My name is Michelle. I have a few questions to ask you. Can we talk for a bit? I would have thought she'd have said something by now.
You're being way too blunt, Michelle. You've gone and scared her.
What else was I supposed to say?
Oh, you have to approach slowly, carefully. Go on, give her a smile. A nice, soft smile.
Smile. I'm only here to talk. There's nothing to be afraid of.
Okay, that is definitely not a nice smile. I can't even see it and I can still tell.
What did you expect? I can't just smile on demand.
It's a bad man. A bad man's come to kidnap me. Oh, save me, dearest Mel, before this bad man does bad things to me.
Calm down. Please. I'm not going to do anything to you.
Don't get any closer. I know you're trying to do bad things to me.
I'm not going to do any bad things to you. I couldn't, even if I wanted to.
Don't move, or I'll call the guards on you.
Please, calm down. I mean you no harm, honestly.
That's what all bad men say.
Giselle, don't just watch. This would be fantastic time for a little advice.
Got it. Maybe she'll calm down if you mention Mel.
You're a genius. I'm a friend of Mel's.
What?
He was telling me about you and how you wanted someone to talk to. He asked me to go keep you some company.
Mel asked you to come talk to me?
He did. Do you trust me now?
So that makes you his friend then?
As much as it pains me to admit it.
Michelle, what on earth possessed you to say that?
Slip of the tongue.
You and him? Is that so?
Yes?
You're pretty old to be friends with my Mel. Are you really, really, really his friend?
Really?
Then prove it.
How so?
If you're really his friend, then you should be able to tell me all about him.
Why in God's name would you ever subject me to that?
Do you not like Mel, Michelle?
Well, that's not it. We're just incompatible.
Okay, here we go. First question. What does my Mel like most of all?
Oh, cool. Fuck yeah. It's gonna be his sister, or princess, or whatever. Nellie.
You think so too? You think I'm his favorite thing in the whole wide world? I like to believe that's what he thinks. I think it'd be wonderful. I could always be his number one.
Her excessive love for her brother is still out in full force, I see.
Second question. What kind of person is my Mel?
Okay. He's a nice guy. He's a sycophant. He's a spineless chump. We're gonna go nice guy on this one.
That's right. He's a very nice guy. He can have his head in the clouds sometimes, but other than that, he's perfect. You know your stuff.
To be honest, I was just saying what you wanted to hear. Me and my big mouth.
Okay, final question. Describe what he looks like for me.
Oh, look, she has the rose as like a little belt. You see that? I try not to scrutinize other men. He's decently handsome, or I'm far better looking. What? Why can't I just say flaxen hair and be done with it? He's a boy. I try not to scrutinize other men. That's not what she's gonna want to hear, though. I'm gonna try not to scrutinize.
No, is that a guy thing?
Generally.
So you'll scrutinize girls then. Do you want to stare at me? Stop it right there! What is wrong with you? I'll never look at you the same way again.
It was a joke. I didn't actually mean it.
You're full of surprises today, aren't you, Michelle?
It's not that unusual, is it? There's a woman in the room. I'm certainly not going to ignore her.
I'm right here, you know,
And she's also fucking 9. Michelle?
Hello? Is anyone in there?
Sorry, my mind ran off without me.
You're weird. Well, that's the last of my questions. You're not a complete stranger, it seems. Sure, why not? You can be my Mel's friend.
Why, thank you.
This is great. I was sure you were a bad man.
Why is that the first impression everyone has of me is never that I'm someone decent?
Any friend of Mel's must be a good person. No, an amazing person.
It's quite the faith you have in him.
Why wouldn't I? He's my big brother.
Some circular logic?
Is it just you? Is Mel not coming?
He's rather busy at the moment.
Oh, he always has something to take care of, that Mel. He's hardly given me any attention these past couple months. But that's okay, because today I've got you to keep me company.
Yeah, you do. I can't stay long, though.
Alright, just stay until sundown then. You had something you wanted to ask me, didn't you? Well, if you're a good enough friend, I'll tell you anything you want to know.
And how do I go about that?
Talking. Lots and lots of talking. You have to keep me entertained.
You're asking far too much of me.
She's not asking much at all. She just wants to talk.
Do you think someone who spent 13 years in isolation knows the first thing about holding a pleasant conversation?
Hey, now, I was there for a year of that. I'll help you come up with topics, so go on. Do you not want to talk to me?
No, I do. I'm just really not much of a conversationalist.
Okay, then instead of talking, you can sing. I've never seen a minstrel before, but I've always wanted to know what kind of songs they sing. Will you show me?
I've never seen one myself either. But I have heard secondhand accounts of the songs that traveling jongleurs. Very well then. I'll teach you a song an old acquaintance of mine heard while traveling.
Oh, I can't wait.
Here goes. Silence is deafening.
I'm shocked. I don't think I've ever heard someone sing so badly. Me neither. I'm flabbergasted.
Let's hear you try then.
That's enough singing for today. I don't want my ears to fall off.
What a vicious little girl.
I know. Let's bake something.
Bake something?
Yeah, come on inside. I made some nice jam earlier today, and I want you to make it into a pretty little pie. You get to help me with that.
Well, I'm not much of a...
Come on, get a move on. You either help or you don't get to be my friend.
As you wish.
Oh, this is not going to end well. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. How on earth do you manage to turn a pie into this monstrosity?
I gave it my best shot.
There's only one explanation. You're possessed.
It's true, he is, but listen, I'm a perfectly good chef. Michelle's just naturally terrible at it. God, could this go any worse?
I can't give this to Mel. Jerk, dimwit, loser.
I'm sorry.
Well, I guess we've got no choice but to eat it ourselves. I'll set the table.
We're trying to win the favor of Mel's little sister so that we can convince Mel to give us the key for the observation tower so that Morgana can be set free.
And I'll make us some tea while I'm at it. You know, I've always dreamed of this. Sitting around a table with a friend, having snacks, and just talking.
Oh?
Yep, and for that, I could deal with an awful, disgusting pie.
And for further context, Fix, this is one of the main characters of the first, 8 hours of the story. First, 6 to 8 hours of the story. And obviously we knew her way back then. And so here she is back after all this time in a different timeline as a different kind of person in a different place. I see.
For all her complaining, she seems to be enjoying herself. I can only imagine how lonely she is out here. While she may act all bright and cheerful, beneath it's a real sense of isolation.
And the same can be said about the girl behind the first door. As vivacious and pushy as she could be, you could see the hints of loneliness behind it all.
Well, her brother was practically all she had while she lived in the mansion. But if I were to guess, that's not the life she really wanted. I bet she would have preferred to be able to go out and play with friends.
Being born into a noble family takes away a lot of your freedom.
Even in such drastically different time periods, well, she's still the same girl inside. Actually, maybe the parallels extend beyond her as a person and into the courses of her two different lives.
Perhaps that means all those who were reconstructed at Morgana's wish are destined to lead similar lives. Though destined may be putting it too nicely. Nellie. I would be glad to lend you my ear if you would like. You can talk about the weather, or your brother, anything you would want.
You will? Great! Take a seat. I've got lots I want to talk about. More than you can possibly imagine. And you'll never guess what Mel said next. That means more to him than anyone else more to him than anyone else in the world. So I'm growing flowers out in the garden, right? Well, when I've gotten enough of them, I'm going to make a big bouquet and give it to Mel. Back at home, we've got this really, really big yard with this huge tree we used to take naps under when it was nice out. And so what do you think about the tea I made? The flower petals really what tie it all together. Oh, and you won't believe what happened after that.
Oh, Michelle's exhausted.
Care for another cup of tea? Oh, I'll make as much as you can drink.
No. Thank you. I'm fine. I feel like all I did was nod and listen, and the bulk of it was about Mel, no less.
I haven't talked that much in ages. Time sure flew by, huh? The sun's starting to set.
Do you and the nun not speak much?
Well, we do, but it's kinda... I don't know. It's not really the same with her. It just feels like she's too important for me to waste her time, like being a lady in charge of the church and pretty much the whole estate.
And what about Mel? Does he not visit you very often?
No, he does. He comes to see me a lot.
Then why?
Oh, he hasn't been himself lately. My old Mel would always happily listen to whatever I had to say, but now he seems kind of distracted. It sounds like he's really busy. When he visits, he doesn't stay for long, and he has to go back to the mansion at night. I'll try to get him to stay longer, but it never works. and he always avoids the question when I ask him why he can't. It really feels like he's hiding something.
Knowing what he's hiding, I can understand why he wouldn't want to talk about it. He could never tell his precious little sister that he and 2 other men have a girl locked up in the tower, and that he's stealing blood for her sake.
I wish things could have stayed the way they were before.
The way they were before?
When it was just the 2 of us living together. I know we're more stable here and I can get the medicine I need from the church. But I'd rather stay being sick than to be so alone.
You said you came here around 6 months ago.
Yeah, it was just the 2 of us before that. Well, before that, at our old house, we had a bunch of servants. But I never really liked it there either. With that many people around, I just felt more alone. I liked it so much better when it was just me and Mel.
Is that really what you want? To be sick and in constant pain?
It's better than being alone. Mel doesn't get it. He doesn't understand that the loneliness is so much worse, or maybe that's just a guy thing. They don't get what it's like to be ignored, what it feels like to be left in the dark, not knowing anything.
We don't understand. No. We think saving their lives matters above all.
Huh?
Even if there's a cost to saving that life, well, we're incapable of gauging how great it is. We're unable to see how egotistical, how self-serving our own actions are.
Are you talking about yourself?
Same could be said of Mel as well, I imagine.
Mel's still around, though. He's there, but it's like he's trying to avoid me. And all I want is for him to be here, to be with me. It's all I really want. He doesn't even have to be perfect fairy tale prince.
Have you ever told him that?
Huh?
Have you ever told him that he doesn't have to be the perfect brother? That you'd be happy with him just having him there? Have you ever put those feelings into words?
I'm always telling him I want him around.
And that he doesn't have to be your prince to do so?
He's already said he'll be my prince, and he always smiles whenever I talk about it. So how am I supposed to turn around and say he doesn't have to be my prince anymore?
I know it's not your intention to force an ideal image onto him, but unconsciously, subconsciously, that's what you're doing when you talk like that. And Mel, well, he's trying to meet those expectations. Actually, he may not be conscious of it himself, and he just believes deep down that that's the kind of person he's supposed to be. Or, more accurately, he seems to have a need to make himself look good to others, and he believes that if he's good to others, they'll be good to him in return.
Am I a burden?
Well, I can assure you he's better off with you around.
But I am a burden to him right now, aren't I? Be honest with me.
Yes, you are.
Does Mel not like me anymore? Is that why he's been avoiding me?
Oh, I promise you that's not the case. At the very least, he's doing what he's doing now because of how much he cares about you.
You promise?
I promise.
I love him. I love my Mel so very much. Too much, in fact. To be honest, I know I do. I understand that, really. I know I'm making his life difficult, but Mel's all I have. He's the only person I can latch onto, and I can't control my feelings.
It can be difficult to tame your emotions at your age. There's nothing wrong with that. However, you should have taken stock of those emotions, sorted through everything you've got on your mind, and then sat down with him to talk it out. And even if those things you feel seem wrong or unspeakable, You should have opened up to him, taken the time to figure out what works best for both of you. You two needed to face the things you carried in your heart, the things your brother carried in his, and by not doing so, you end up never quite on the same page. Small misunderstandings piling up until it all comes crashing down. If they had just talked it out, communicated their feelings to one another, maybe their tragedy could have been avoided even with Morgana's curse in play. If Nellie had only had a chance to come to grips with her feelings, then maybe things wouldn't have escalated the way they did. While her actions that night were arguably hysteric, she wasn't always like that. I'm sorry. That was out of line. None of this is any of my business, I know.
Oh, no need to apologize. You're a very curious man, you know that?
Huh?
We only met a couple of hours ago. Well, but you talk to me like you've known me my whole life. It's like you can hear everything I'm thinking and see everything in my heart. Did Mel tell you all of that?
No, he didn't tell me much.
I didn't think so. He doesn't know me that well. It's not too late, is it? If I talk to him, really talk to him, and tell him how I feel, do you think Mel will listen?
Oh, I know he will.
It won't make things worse. It won't make him uncomfortable.
There's a chance that rifts may form at first, but those cracks can be filled again, and I promise you, the result will be something much better than if you had held it in. It will all work out.
Okay. Next time I see Mel, I'll tell him. I'll tell him he doesn't have to try to be my prince anymore.
Good.
You really are a curious man. You're the first person to ever talk to me like I'm a real person. Everyone loves to say how sweet and adorable I am, but that's it. I was only ever their make-believe princess.
You are a real person, I assure you.
Thanks. You know, after talking to you, I'm feeling a whole lot better. Like I can do anything. I'm glad you came by today.
And I'm glad I could meet you in person.
It's weird. It really feels like we've known each other our entire lives.
I've known you for some time. Or perhaps I should say, what you'll become.
Huh?
Oh, no, ignore me.
Was that supposed to be a pickup line? Bad, I'm still too young for that.
What? No,
Hey, now you're getting flustered.
What? I swear that's not what that was.
I know, jeez. Do you really think I trust you that little?
Sorry.
Ooh, I just had the most wonderful idea.
Oh?
Yeah. Instead of being my friend, I'll let you be something even better. You're my second brother.
Second brother?
A brother is much, much more special to me than a friend. Though obviously you can't be my number one.
I'm blanking.
She's taken a liking to you. This is good for us.
I'm not sure how I feel about her putting so much trust in me so quickly, though.
Oh, the amount of time it takes isn't important. What matters is that you listened to her. You understand her, and you treated her like a real person. In her eyes, you're someone she can depend on. Do you not want me as your sister?
Well, actually, I was the youngest child, so having a younger sibling would be,
Would be what? Come on, spit it out.
It would be rather nice.
Oh. You bet it would. Who wouldn't want an adorable little sister like me?
That's a bit narcissistic, wouldn't you say?
Well, it's true, isn't it? Go on, tell me I'm adorable, dearest Michelle. What? Well, don't just stare at me. If my Mel were here, he wouldn't even bat an eye.
Please, don't compare me to him. You know, now might be a good time to tell her about Morgana. Part of me feels like I would be taking advantage of her newly earned trust, but it'll certainly be easier to bring up now while she holds me in such high regard.
she's much more likely to believe me. You're right. I agree, now is probably the best chance we'll get, especially considering how little time we have. Oh, I can't shake the feeling I'm rushing things, but at this point, all I can do is go with it and pray it works out. If we had the time, I think we'd all like to hold off. Nellie looks like she's having so much fun, and even you seem to be enjoying yourself. No, I'm just... Oh, it's nothing to be ashamed of. I'm having fun watching you myself. Let's do it. Let's tell her about Morgana. We have to do it at some point anyway. Yes, let's. Nellie, do you mind if I ask you a question?
What is it, dearest Michelle? Ask me anything you want.
Have you heard of something called Saint's Blood?
You mean the medicine?
Yes. Except it's not actually...
I know. Yeah. It's actually the Saintess's blood. It's not medicine. But no telling.
You... What?
One day, before we moved here, when it was just me and Mel, the Saintess came to visit. My mind had been all foggy for a long time. Like I was not quite asleep, but not quite awake either. But when I heard her soft, pleasant voice, the fog cleared a bit. And then she performed a miracle for me. Blood's awful and gross and terrible, but the Saintess's, hers is different. Hers is pure.
So you're saying you know everything, Nellie, about the observation tower and...
Huh? The tower, what about it?
Well, that's where they keep her.
What? No. The Saintess is always in the chapel, and she stays here with me. She comes back at nights. In fact, she should be here any minute now. So she thinks the Saintess...
Damn, I missed so much. Should I just leave and watch the VOD? No, it's really not too bad. It's not too bad. What's up, Nancy? How are you? Welcome in. Let me give you a quick little update, but I would go back and watch a little bit of it. We started the stream by not letting go, right? We started the stream, just said bye to your Florida friends. And look at this. Look at Franco's here with McNuggets. Draconix is redeeming Catch Me Up. We're at the perfect point. Played some serious COD Zombies? Fuck yeah. That's awesome. We are in the final door. Okay? We didn't let go at the beginning of the stream and realized that Giselle was holding us up that entire time. And was like, don't pay attention to Morgana's lies. Don't pay attention to Morgana's deceptions and illusions. I would never judge you. I'm right here. I always love you. Whatever. You know what I mean? Typical Giselle, Michelle stuff. Just lovey-dovey. And Michelle was able to break free and break out of his own trauma, of his own past, right? Was able to confront it, break free, and find a new self-assurance with Giselle at his side that he will be okay. And so long as she's there, he can overcome anything. And so the two of them had this beautiful little conversation. They kissed in the dark for the first time. They had a true kiss. And Giselle said, this isn't over yet. We need to clear the air. We need to clear the trauma. We need to free Morgana from the shackles of her own hate, from the shackles of her own trauma. And there's only one way that we can do that, and we have to do that together. And so even though Morgana at this point, doesn't want to be redeemed, doesn't want anybody to kind of come to terms with her hate. They're doing it anyway because it's the only way to see this story to its conclusion. And so Michelle stepped through the final door. And the final door isn't an omniscient narrator overseeing everything going on with no physical role in the actions and activities. No, we were dropped down in Morgana's time 3 days before her death and basically are going through each of the people that wronged her, starting with Mel, who we discovered in the woods, and finding Mel, redeeming Mel, and thus getting Mel's key, and eventually are working our way up, Ghost Trick style. Honestly, I'm getting a lot of Ghost Trick parallels to we are altering the only way we can the fate of these characters in order to get... I have only met Mel, Nellie, and the Saintess. That's correct. In order to save Morgana, more or less. Or at the very least, if not save, then present the full story to Morgana so that she can see, and we can see, and the characters can see everything that's going on. Not just the moment of... Oh, I haven't seen any gut-punchy moment with the Saintess at all, by any stretch. I haven't seen any gut punch. So that hasn't happened yet. Oh, just who she is? Yeah, the Saintess's whole vibe right now, I couldn't quite... That's Pauline, right? And she was talking to Yukimasa in the dark, and Yukimasa was like... Or whatever the Yukimasa parallel is. But she's kind of both. I couldn't nail down the facial features, and that's just my fault. In fact, when I was watching Mulholland Drive, I had a hard time nailing down the facial features of a character that appears twice in that movie as two different characters. And it's a very funny thing to not pick up on when you watch that movie, and then only afterwards go like, oh, okay, all right, sure. But yeah, I don't know, my like, obviously this is like hand-drawn and stuff, so it's not quite there, but her recounting a quiet life, a peaceful life, a life alone, an uneventful life that she can look back on and be happy about. That was Pauline, right? Yeah, because that was Pauline. That was what she said before she died. Yeah, because that was Pauline. I was getting it mixed up with Maria's stories in the Italian countryside when she was with baby Jacopo. That's what I was getting those. It's been so long, man. I've been playing this for so long. I was getting those, intimate moments crossed in my brain. So that's where we're at. We met Mel, and we realized that Mel was going to be the easiest one to kind of convince, right? And so we went straight to the source. We went to Nellie. And we had a long talk with Nellie. We hung out. We baked a cake or pie. We, did a whole bunch of shit. This is Nellie from Morgana's time. This is when she's still sick. And so right now, after making friends with her, and by the way, Giselle is seeing what we're seeing through our eyes, Michelle, but she is not physically here in this time. She's somewhere in a void state, and is kind of like a helpful narrator in our head, but doesn't have any physical say in any matters. So this is Nellie from before, from Morgana's time. She's sick, she's had issues, and we are now talking to her straight up about saint's blood. And Nellie knows what saint's blood is, but knows that it's actually the saintess's blood. But her understanding of the saintess is not Morgana up in the tower, up in the observation tower. She believes that the saintess is, well, the nun at the tower who we know as Pauline. And so that's where we're at. I still would go back and watch it. We started around, Giselle's like a Navi from Zelda, or really, I mean, I'm getting a ton of Ghost Trick from this. It's really like a Ghost Trick Sissel, and Michelle is kind of why am I forgetting her name? Not I can visualize her character, redhead. It's not Leanne. It's not man, what's her name? Somebody will know. Does it start with an L? So many names. So many. What was her name? Lynn. I was close. Lynn. I said Leanne. Really, really close. Lynn. Kind of like that. Kind of like being able to... Michelle can speak out loud, but he can also think in his head and think on a Giselle wavelength. So it's cool. So anytime you see the blue text, that's internal dialogue. Anytime you see text in parentheses, as you know, that's personal thoughts that Giselle can't hear. So she thinks the saintess is the nun and not Morgana. No, Nellie, that blood comes from...
I'm really, really grateful to her. She didn't just perform one miracle. She's been taking care of me while I'm here, too. So whenever I see her, I always say thank you. I thank her for sharing her blood with me. And she always says it's nothing with a big smile.
Nellie, no. The nun has no idea. She just assumed Nellie's thanking her for giving her the medicine.
I owe the saintess my life.
No, Nellie. She's not the one you should be grateful to.
Huh?
The girl you owe your life to has been locked up, suffering and alone, even as we speak.
But the saintess is at the church.
The girl who came to visit you is not the nun everyone calls the saintess. Her name is Morgana.
What are you talking about, Michelle? The saintess is locked up. Stop it. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Everything I'm telling you is the truth, please. Believe me. While you were lying in bed, sick, and barely conscious, did you get a good look at the saintess who gave you her blood? You didn't, did you? You couldn't make out any details because your mind was a haze. And then, when you arrived at this estate, you met a woman, who people called the saintess, giving out medication known as saint's blood. So you assumed she was the one who had cured you. That's the story you chose to believe.
If what you're saying is true, then where is the other saintess? The one who came to see me?
She's at the top of the mansion's observation tower. The door to the tower is locked, and she's imprisoned there.
And how do you know this?
Because, while it wouldn't be wise to tell her I'm from the future just yet, that would only serve to confuse her further. All I need to convince her of right now is that Morgana's being held in the tower. There's an idea. Perhaps I can borrow from the story the white-haired girl told Mel. I received a letter.
A letter?
There's a single window, far out of reach, in the chamber at the top of the tower. A dove flew in through the window, and so she wrote a letter, tying it to the bird's leg and releasing it in the hope someone would come to set her free. That letter ended up in my hands.
If that's the case, then who locked her up? Was it the Saintess? The one I know?
No, I don't believe the nun is aware. I think she's simply doing her job, in good faith.
Then who?
Michelle. I know very well that what I'm about to say will likely crush her, but I can't let that stop me.
Who would do such a terrible thing?
Nellie, I want you to brace yourself for what I'm about to say. There are 3 men participating in Morgana's imprisonment. And one of those 3 is your brother, Mel. I understand that that's the last thing you wanted to hear, but please, believe me, I would not say something so upsetting lightly. I wish to save Morgana, the true saint. And I would like your assistance. Without your help, well, I can't get her out of that tower. I need you to get through to Mel. Otherwise, both he and Morgana will remain entrapped.
That's not true.
Nellie,
You're lying. You have to be. My Mel would never do something so horrible, and you're a terrible liar.
it's true, I swear to you.
You think I'm gonna believe that? My Mel. My Mel's an amazing, a wonderful person. He's not cruel and evil. He's good and kind, like a prince. And a prince would never lock someone up.
I know you're not blind, Nellie. You can see that all your prince talk has been putting pressure on him.
So? Oh, you think that's gonna change my mind? He has no reason to do any of that.
But he does, Nellie. He's certainly not happy about it, no, but he's doing it for you.
What do you mean?
He needs her blood to keep you healthy. So to ensure he always had a supply.
But no. Hey,
And despite that, well, Saint's blood probably doesn't even have healing properties. No one benefits from doing this. Not you, not Mel, and certainly not Morgana. And I don't think anyone can stop him except you.
Mel won't listen to me.
Did you not just say you would talk things through with him?
Just shut up. Stop talking already. I'm done listening to you.
Nellie,
I'll never believe you. You're not my brother anymore. You're just a horrible, horrible man. And who do you think you are to march in here and try to make my Mel into the bad guy after I made you my second brother? What's wrong with you? I trusted you. I ate nasty pie and had tea with you. But you're just a mean, evil man here to turn me against my Mel.
I know you don't want to believe me, but I'm telling you the truth. Every word. I beg you to open your eyes. Ask him yourself. If you don't believe me, then ask Mel about Morgana, and I guarantee you, he'll panic.
Enough! Enough already! Get out of here! Get out this instant!
Nellie,
Don't say my name! Just go away and get out of here now! I don't want to see you ever again! I should have chased you off the moment I saw you! Get out now!
I pray you find it in yourself to open your eyes and face the truth.
Get out!
One last thing before I go. Michelle, she's a fucking kid, dude. Just go, buddy. I know it's like a fake dream world where you just have 3 days to figure this out so you can kind of push the buttons, but dear Lord, man, nobody knows how to talk to kids in this world. Nobody knows. It's their children. What are you handing her? It was my only option. I know that. But I feel like all I accomplished by telling her was bringing her more pain. It's a difficult balance. We just have to pray that you were able to get through to her.
They're kids! I'm sure she'll come around.
If only we had a little more time. In 3 days, it will all be over. Morgana and the entire web of people connected to her will die. It's not enough time. Let's return to the mansion and look for Mel. I would like to speak with him. If there's a chance we can get even the smallest bit of Nellie's feelings through to him, maybe he'll have a change of heart.
Hopefully.
It's hardly going to be elegant, but it's what must be done. What's up, Mel?
Did you just get back? The Saintess was telling me you went to see Nellie. What do you think? Sweet girl, isn't she?
That she is.
Though she can be a bit of a handful at times. I'm glad you could keep her company for a bit. Now, just to be sure, you kept a lid on all your crazy talk, right?
She treated me to some tea. Nothing more.
Oh, the stuff with the flower petals in it, yeah? She thinks it's some kind of charm to make it taste better. Girls seem to have a thing for stuff like that.
Mel,
Hmm?
could you spare a bit of time for me? We need to talk.
Oh, sure. Can it wait a bit, though? I have to run a little errand after supper. And when I'm done with that, I'll meet you in your room.
All right. You think the errand is bringing Morgana her meal, presumably. We may be able to catch the three of them opening the door if we trail Mel. It's too big a risk. Mel's already wary enough as it is. I concur. And we don't know how the other two might react either, so it's best to play it safe. No one's going to come to our defense if we're caught, not at this point in time. So we'd be better off waiting in our room.
Agreed.
Welcome back, Fix. You're fine. You just missed Michelle not understand how to talk to kids at all. And like get, temper tantrumed out of the house as he should have, in my opinion. The winter has receded and spring is well upon the land. There's still a sharp chill to the night air. But what he did say was, hey, yo, listen, you're drinking the blood of a girl named Morgana, and that girl's at the top of the observation tower, and your brother is partly responsible for this, so you may want to bring it up to him, because we gotta free this girl. And she's like, no, my brother would never do that. You're a monster. Get out, get out, get out, get out, get out. Not my brother. Not my brother. I can't believe you. Leave, 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 leave. So there's a chance that she may bring it up to him at some point. So, also, I know we just met Nellie. Right. Listen, Nellie, I know we just met and you called me your second brother or whatever, so I'm just about to spew a whole bunch of insane shit, including why your brother has been force-feeding you a random person's blood. Just bear with me. Whatever. The opening of the game, I remember this. It's something like, I forget exactly what the line is, but it's something to the tune of, in order to walk these halls or whatever, you must accept what you see as fact, right? Accept what you see, and that's the whole purpose of the game, is to accept what you see and then get led around in another direction, and now you're seeing it from this side, and you're going like, oh, okay, that's completely different. And then you walk around and you see it from this side, and it's kind of giving the perspective of the whole thing. And so to a certain degree, you just have to act, they aren't acting logically. Who really gives a shit? They're kids, but so what? This is the way Michelle, in his self-isolated for over a decade weird-ass way, decided to get through to him. I'm sure Giselle would have done it way differently. Neither Giselle nor I say much of anything. But nevertheless, when she does speak, the sound of her voice, soft and pleasant, relaxes my nerves. The faint sound of her breathing reminds me I'm not alone, and that she's there, always watching over me. When the candle is about half gone, the door swings open.
I'm sorry it took so long. What did you want to talk about?
You didn't bring anyone with you?
No. I didn't. Who did you think I would bring?
No one. I was just checking. Now, I'll get straight to the point. You're afflicted with a great deal of remorse, are you not, Mel?
Huh? Pardon?
I know what you're doing, what you're involved in. I know the girl at the top of the observation tower very well. Her name is Morgana, and you have her imprisoned in the tower. And that door requires 3 keys to open, of which you possess 1. You need her for her miracle blood.
How?
I came here to stop you.
How do you know any of that? It's not possible that she could have told anyone. Did one of them tell you?
No, it wasn't them. I was told all of this by Morgana herself.
How could she?
What I'm about to tell you is going to seem impossible, but every word of it is the truth. I'm not from this time. Many, many years after her death, Morgana's soul told me what happened to her.
Huh? What are you even talking about? She's still alive. You're not from this time? What? Are you mad?
Can you come up with any other explanation for how I would be able to know everything I know? There's a single window in the room at the top of the tower. A small, insignificant thing that sits high upon the wall, entirely useless for communicating with the outside world. In 3 days' time, during the Harvest Festival, Morgana will die. And I must prevent that from happening.
Prevent it?
To do that, I need your key. Will you give it to me?
There you go, talking nonsense again. You know, I warned you not to kick up any dust for your own sake. But I guess that didn't get through, huh? I don't care who you are, or where you came from. All that matters is that you intend to stand in our way. What? Did you think I was just a helpless little boy? That you could take my key without any trouble? Well, you'd be right about that. If it was only me, stealing my key and setting her free would be a trivial matter. But it's not only me. And then the other two? They won't hesitate to kill you. Your life, anyone's life, it means nothing to them. You don't know what they're like, how terrifying they can be. They're killers. I'll tell them everything you told me. I'll tell them you know our secret. And don't come crying to me when they come for you. I warned you.
Is that what you want? Will you find the comfort you seek by being their devoted little slave and keeping Morgana imprisoned in that tower?
Well, what else can I...
If you feel at all ashamed about your part in this, if you want to do something to correct it, then you need to take that step. You can't fix this problem on your own, no, but I am here to help.
I'm not ashamed about anything.
Don't lie to yourself.
Don't act like you know how I feel. What the hell is your deal anyway? You show up out of nowhere, spouting all this "I'll save you" and I'm here to help rubbish.
And you need to do this for your sister.
See, now that's ridiculous. If I wash my hands of this, I won't have access to the witch's blood anymore. And without that, Nellie can't get better. And she'll die without that blood.
Her blood has no miraculous healing powers. You only believe it does, which makes it appear to work.
You're mad.
Morgana's blood is not curing Nellie. In fact, it may very well be killing her. If you keep giving her that blood, Nellie will lose her life during the Harvest Festival.
What?
You're standing on the precipice of a horrific tragedy, and you're going to take everyone down with you if you don't turn back now.
What are you?
All 3 of you are going to lose everything on the day of the festival, and there's only one way to prevent that. You have to set Morgana free.
You're insane if you think I'd believe that. Nellie's gonna die? Could you have told a more mean-spirited lie? Listen, you're the one who's trying to kill her. I'm just trying to save her.
And you're going about it the entirely wrong way. Do you have any idea how lonely your sister is right now? You should be at her side. That's what you should be doing, instead of stealing a poor girl's blood.
I've heard enough. What do you know? If I lose Nellie, I'll have no one. My whole world will collapse. This was the only way I could keep that from happening. This was my best option, my only option. So no, I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna keep Morgana locked up, and I'm gonna keep stealing her blood. And I'll hand you over to the other 2. I'll have them kill you. You'll regret ever showing your face.
Yo! What's Nellie doing wandering from the cottage all the way to the mansion as a fucking 9-year-old? That's a long hike, Nell.
Mel, is that really true? What? Do you really have the Saintess locked up? What are you doing here, Nellie? That man, he told me I had to talk to you. And he said if I didn't have the courage to do it myself, to wait outside his room tonight because he was gonna get the truth from you.
Oh, that was the last line that he said, like, I got one more thing. If you don't want to believe me, show up to my room in the middle of the night. That's what he said.
You conniving son of a... You were planning this all along. Why would you tell Nellie? Why would you bring her of all people into this? Mel. Tell me, Mel, is it true? Nellie, are you really keeping the Saintess prisoner and stealing her blood? And you said you would have him killed? I never thought you were such a terrible person, Mel. Oh, I can't believe you would do such despicable things. No, you're not my brother anymore. Nellie.
Michelle, go after her. Are we in choice mode right now? Are you about to give me a choice? Fuck, dude. Okay. We have to be... What do I do? Choice time? Okay, here's the thing. I don't understand the implications of this world. Right? This world, if it's my understanding, is the same... I should definitely... Good call. Is the same as any of these other doors, in that we can alter this one, but at the end of the day, it's going to end when the Morgana shit happens. This is the final door. And so we are coming face to face with the 3 men that wronged her. If that's the case, Nellie's not my problem. Right? In the same way, all of the other people that drank the saint's blood are unfortunately not my problem. Nellie being sad is not my problem. But in that same blush, Giselle, right. Giselle said, go after Nellie. Going after Nellie will show Mel that we care about Nellie and by extension care about Mel. And so right now I'm thinking business oriented and I have to think emotional oriented. Right. So going after Nellie is that's the domino. That's the first domino. Whereas staying here, we might be able to get this key from Mel, but that domino effect won't start. It will just get one key and then lead to a dead end. That's where my thinking's at. So I feel like going after her is like the obvious right, but my no nonsense, like the way that I play every game ever, where it's just like path of least resistance, is to stay. But this isn't a game. This isn't a game with a path of least resistance. This is a story. And in this story, we have a lot of loose ends to tie up, and we have a lot of redemption to go through. Kind of want to see the other side. I did save. Do you want to see it? I don't know how long it would be the only thing. We'll do it. Why not? I'm curious. Go after Nellie's got to be the one. From deduction. But stay here. Let's just see what happens. I did save, right? Yeah, okay. We can't leave him alone, not like this.
Why? Why did it have to turn out like this?
Mel, calm down. You need to go after her. Tell her the truth. Explain to her how you got involved. Yeah, so this is the right one because this isn't my problem. This is Mel's problem.
It's all because you had to go and spill everything.
You have to come clean and you have to do it now. Right, Michelle is just the orchestrator here. Remember what I said, if you don't act at the Harvest Festival.
Everything was just fine the way it was, but then you had to show up out of nowhere and ruin everything.
Do you honestly think that things were fine as they were? Of course they weren't, Mel.
Be quiet. Shut up, damn you. What the hell's your problem anyway? I told you to keep your head down, didn't I? If you hadn't said anything to Nellie, if you weren't here.
Mel, please, calm down.
Mel, you ruined everything. You made a gigantic mess out of my life.
Go after Nellie now. If you explain yourself, there's still time to fix things.
What do you know? She's just a kid, a little girl who dreams about being a princess and having me for her prince. And you destroyed that dream. There's no fixing it.
Mel.
And it's all your fault.
With a savage roar, Mel swipes a candlestick off the stand. He rips the candle free, throwing it aside to reveal a metal rod with a sharp tip. We're getting killed!
Michelle! And this is all on you. I'll take care of you myself.
We're getting killed! Don't do this, Mel. You're better than that.
Shut up! You don't know me. You don't know a damn thing about me.
I do. I know you wouldn't deliberately harm anyone.
Is that what you think? Oh, what did I tell you? You don't know me at all. I can. I can too. You bet I can.
Put that down, Mel.
Everyone thinks I'm completely helpless. That I can't do a single thing for myself.
Mel.
Well, you know what? I can. It's not like I've got anything to lose now.
Drop the candlestick, Mel. Don't do this. There's still time. All is not lost yet. Put the candlestick down. Good. Mel's trembling from head to toe. I step forward slowly, trying not to aggravate him any further. I reach out, grab the candlestick in his hand, and I can feel his shaking through the cool metal. His fingers are not meant to grip weapons, his hands not made to point them at people. Tools meant to cause others harm, instead act upon him. Speedster and Fix at the same time. That's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Let go. Mel. The tension dissipates from his arm, and his grip on the candlestick goes loose. Now go find Nellie and tell her the truth. She'll hear you out, I'm certain of it. You never wanted to be involved in this, and she will understand. You're a good man, and she knows.
You've misjudged me.
What?
Me? A good man? If I were such a good person, I wouldn't be holding this thing in the first place. Michelle!
Fuck yeah.
Michelle! What's going on out there?
My gaze slides downward.
No. Please, no.
And there, I see the candlestick spike protruding from my neck.
No, don't. You can't. Hang in there. No, please. Why, Michelle? No, Michelle.
Blood trickles down the gold bronze shaft. As soon as my mind registers this fact, excruciating pain radiates in hot waves from the wound. I make to say something, but all that comes out is a choked gurgle. My ability to speak completely stripped away.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't actually mean... I'm so sorry.
Mel, frantically apologizing, grows hazy. The world twists and contorts around me. I fall to my knees.
Michelle!
And then the rest of me hits the floor.
Michelle, please be okay. I'm begging you.
Giselle.
You're still with me. Good. We need a doctor. Mel, listen to me, Mel. You need to get to someone. Why can I not get through to him? Why can't I be there? Why do I have to be stuck here? Please, Michelle, I beg you, hold on. I can't bear to lose you. No, please don't leave me.
Giselle, I'm sorry I failed you.
What's going on? Respond.
I'm sorry I couldn't get you out of...
No, you can't. No.
So this isn't one of the endings. This is just dead end. Yeah, okay. All right. Got it. So this one doesn't even count for if I go to the endings of the game. Yeah, it's not even there. Okay. She's still gambling you. Right, exactly. All right, here we go. Now for the proper answer. Oh. We have to stop her. Bring her back. Nellie.
Don't follow me. Just go away. Leave me alone.
Stop. If you run away from him now, Mel will never come back from this.
Then why did you tell me? Why did you tell me what he was doing? If you hadn't said anything, everything would still be fine. We wouldn't be in this horrible mess. If you hadn't said anything, I could have kept on believing in him.
No, things wouldn't be fine. Why can you not see that? You shouldn't put faith in your ideal brother, but your real one. The boy in that room, stricken with regret. If I hadn't said anything, the facade would have ruined you both, sooner or later. No, in truth, your relationship was already broken. You were simply ignoring the spreading cracks. I know on some level you had realized that Mel was keeping something incredibly important from you, and that secret was tearing you apart.
There's nothing good about this, though. Now we'll never go back to the way we were. We can never go back to what it was like when we were kids. Just the two of us, playing together every day and having fun.
Everyone's childhood comes to an end. The flow of time is impartial. You cannot fight it. What you can do, what only you can do, is choose how you change. Yeah, I can see the later Castlevania games. Totally. Like the art style of like Portrait of Ruin and what's the one I'm thinking of? The DS one with the black-haired girl on it. Totally forget. I'm thinking like the DS era, I can see it. I will admit, I am the one who opened your wounds, and now I'm putting the responsibility of tending to them onto you. It's cruel, I know. But if you don't come to terms with Mel and make him withdraw his participation, even greater suffering awaits you in the far future. It's not over yet, and you cannot let this be where it ends. The bonds you formed over the years are not yet broken, and you can do what I was never able to. You can still repair your relationship.
But I'm scared. Scared that my brother, that my Mel could do such terrible things, that he could say he would kill you. He used to be such a good brother. He was always so kind and so friendly to everyone, but it was all a lie. It was all a big act to fool me.
No, it was not all an act. There was truth to it. He is a kind-hearted boy, an ordinary young man whose kindness was twisted by circumstance. And it doesn't matter how good a person someone is. Everyone has the potential to do terrible things when backed into a corner.
You think you know everything.
I know that much. Nellie, if you want your brother back, you have to act now. Please. You must take action. Order of Ecclesia? I don't know how to say that, but yeah. It's like that's the third one. There's Dawn of Sorrow, whatever.
But I'm scared. What am I supposed to say to him? I don't know.
I'll be there with you. You don't have to face this alone. There's more to this story than we've heard, and we don't know how he got himself involved in this. And I mean to get the rest out of him. And you need to be there to hear it.
If, when I hear what he has to say, I try to say something I shouldn't, if I try to say something that'll ruin everything, you'll stop me? You're the one who told me to open my eyes and face him, and you're the one who made this whole mess. What am I supposed to do if this destroys everything I have? You said you'd be my brother, right? So be a good brother and help me out here. And promise me you'll make sure nothing goes bad. You'll do that, won't you?
Michelle, just say yes. Seriously, dude.
We won't let this go bad. Have faith in yourself. Faith that you put their relationship on track to recovering. Promise her. Give her the courage she wants from you.
You have nothing to fear. I'll be there for you. I'll help you both.
Okay, I'll do it. I'll go back.
Thank you. Giselle.
Oh, don't mention it. Now let's go see what he has to say for himself. Let's draw back that curtain.
Yes, let's.
Nellie. Mel. What did you come back for? To ridicule me? I'm not the brother you thought I was, huh? Not at all what you wanted me to be. It's all over. Everything Michelle said is true. There's a girl imprisoned in the tower. A completely innocent girl. The girl who saved your life, in fact. Go on. Tell me how cruel and terrible and evil I am. I'm no prince. Here's an idea. Why don't you make him your new prince?
You can do it, Nellie. Ask him.
You have your reasons, don't you? You have some reason for being a part of this, right?
A reason? Huh. Yeah, I have a reason, all right. I wanted to save your life. And I needed her blood to cure you, so I had her locked up.
Tell me the truth. I don't remember much about when the Saintess came to visit, but I do remember a little. I remember her saying she would gladly give whatever she could to the sick and needy, which means you had no need to lock her up.
It would seem the tale Morgana showed me was true. She really was a saint.
Yes, she was. Tell me the truth, Mel. Tell me everything.
There's nothing to tell.
There is, I know it. There's more to a story than just the facts. The things you thought, the things you felt, are all pieces that combine to make the whole story. Isn't that right, Michelle?
You're exactly right.
And if you hadn't said anything, we could have gone on our whole lives as normal.
No, Mel, we couldn't have. I thought so too at first, but it's not true. Our normal lives ended long ago. Tell me the truth, Mel. No matter what it is, I can handle it.
No, Nellie, you can't. A girl like you, who dreams of becoming a princess, couldn't possibly bear to see how hideous her brother has become.
How can I know if you don't say anything, though? That's how it's always been with us. You were nice to me, and that was all I needed. I never looked beyond the surface. I made you into my ideal brother, and I latched onto that image of you. You're a kind person, Mel. You really are. So kind you played along with my fantasy that you were a prince. But you don't have to act for me anymore. I want to know the real you. I'm all done being a princess. I'm just your little sister now. Nothing more. Your one and only little sister, Mel. You need to do this, Mel. You need to tell...
Oh, I'm sorry. You need to do this, Mel. You need to tell your story. Until you do, we have no way of understanding what you've been through, what you're going through.
No way. If I tell you, you'll lose any hope you had left in me.
As Nellie has, you need to release yourself from your own idealized fantasy, Mel. You have someone right here who will accept you for who you are. And I know good and well just how hard it can be to have someone dear to you see a side of you that you didn't want to show them. I think you want to get it off your chest, though. And I think you want forgiveness. Fantasies are not everlasting. They all crumble eventually. Show us the real Mel. Tell us your story, without embellishments or omissions.
Mel.
Okay, I'll tell you. Not like I have any other options. Nellie, if at any point you can't bear to hear any more, so be it.
Mel is saying exclamation point advisory.
You're free to leave whenever you feel like it.
I won't go anywhere. I can almost guarantee you.
I pray that ends up being true. All right, here goes. The whole story, from start to finish. You're probably wondering how I got here. But to tell you that story, of how I ended up in this mess, I have to start here.
I like to think that they're reacting with deadpan stares at my joke. All right, here we go. I have to do it all in Mel's voice? Fuck me. Ooh, here's the title screen music. Let me see. I have a little tiny bit of tea left. The first domino, baby. The first domino.
Until around the time I turned 17, my life was mostly uneventful. On days when it was nice out, I would take walks around the house's grounds, sometimes napping beneath a tree. It was picturesque, and you were always there with me. You have the same flax-colored hair as me, but yours always seemed to glisten in the sun, whereas mine is flat and dull. You shone like a tiny little dancing sun, and at the time, I assumed that was how life would always be, how I genuinely wanted it to be.
Ooh, pretty.
Following my 17th birthday, though, I was met with a deluge of changes. First, Father fell ill and passed away shortly thereafter. And with his death came the question of who would be the next head. As the oldest son, normally it would fall on me to take his place. I was 17, by all means enough of an adult to handle things myself, or well, that's what I thought anyway. Nobody else did, though. After discussions I had no part in, it was decided that my uncle would be the next head. They weren't confident I had the spine to do the job properly. I wasn't sure what to think. Part of me wanted to know why nobody bothered talking to me, and part of me was relieved. Somewhere inside, I knew I didn't have what it took, so I was more than happy to let someone else take that responsibility, even if it meant I could go on with my quiet life. If it meant I could go on with my quiet life, I didn't care who they picked. My uncle, though, seemed to have caught on to my apathy, which he didn't take kindly to. And in response, he formally disowned me. You're not the only one who still has some growing up to do, Nellie. I wasn't quite the adult I'd thought I was either. Fortunately, if you want to call it fortune, I was given enough money to live on for a decent length of time, as well as a place to stay. It was a small house far from home, his way of making it hard for me to come back. Not that I had any intention of returning, but the best thing to come out of it all was you coming with me, Nellie.
So this is our new home, dearest Mel.
Yep, so it is. It's amazing how little there is. No big yard, no paintings, no vases filled with colorful flowers, no silver bowls full of fresh-picked fruit.
But there is you and me.
You're not gonna go and say you want to return home in a couple of months when you realize life isn't as luxurious here as it was back there, are you?
There's only one thing in the whole wide world I really need.
Oh?
Honestly, I can live without the shiny shoes and pretty dresses like Mother wears. I don't need composers to come and write me songs for my birthday. As long as I have the one thing that matters most to me, I could do without anything else.
Are you saying?
I'm as happy as I've ever been. I don't need all that fancy, expensive stuff. We may not have a huge yard, but the sun shines everywhere. Flowers can grow even without a gardener tending to them. Nellie, I'll do whatever I can for you, dearest Mel. Are you hungry? I'm hungry.
Oh, yeah, a bit.
All right, I'll make something then. Start off with some fresh fruit jam and maybe make a pie out of it. What else sounds good? I'm craving cookies.
You've got quite the sweet tooth. You're gonna make yourself sick like that.
That's the first smile I've seen since we've got here.
That can't be right. I'm sure I've been smiling.
Nope, you've been frowning all day.
Whatever you say.
Just forget about all that stuff at home. We've got each other. We can do this. Who cares that we're not rich anymore? We'll figure things out in no time. And then we'll have even more fun than we did back there.
Yeah, you're right.
It'll all work out, dearest Mel. I'll always be here for you. You've got yourself an adorable little princess. What more could you possibly need? Cheer up.
Thanks. I'm really glad you decided to come with me.
Did you think for a second I wouldn't? I'm your princess, dearest Mel. And princesses belong with their princes.
I suppose so. Until that day, I had never known how good it felt to have someone who wanted me in their life, who saw me for me. I realized for the first time how blessed I had always been. I was hardly prince material. I wasn't strong or handsome or regal enough for that. But Nellie calling me her prince gave me the illusion of being worth something. It made me feel like I could keep on being that richly blessed young man, even this far away from home. While I had been given some money, my supply was far from infinite. I knew I would eventually have to find some kind of work, some way to support myself and Nellie. But to be quite honest, I couldn't gather the motivation to do much of anything. My whole life had changed so abruptly, so dramatically that my mind just wasn't able to keep up. Knocked me on my backside, and I didn't have the strength to get back up. I couldn't tell Nellie that, of course, so this is what I said instead. I'm staying home because I want to be with you as much as possible. And she happily took me at my word. Our new life together was quiet and unremarkable. Even so, it was still a constant stream of new experiences for the two of us, having been pampered our entire lives.
Welcome home, dearest Mel. What did you buy today?
I got a chicken.
Whoa, I've never seen one so close before. Are we gonna keep it as a pet?
I was planning on using it for supper.
You're gonna cook it?
That's the idea. You like chicken, though, don't you? Steamed, especially, if I remember right.
Yeah, but
Chicken moment?
But it's all covered in feathers and it's flapping about. How are we supposed to cook it?
Oh, if I remember. Guy said you have to pluck its feathers, then cut off its head and drain all the blood.
Ew! No way. Absolutely not. Not in a million years. You do it, Mel.
What? I've never done this before.
Well, I'm not, so you do it.
All right. I'll bring it to the...
Not inside, do it outside.
Okay.
This is literally Kid Nation. Right, eggs would have worked. They could, it could have.
I've never had to slaughter a chicken before. The chefs back home always took care of it. God, I hope I don't screw this up. Well, I'm not gonna accomplish anything if I just sit here worrying. Gotta give it my best shot. Oh, please don't put up a fight. Oh, I can't watch. On the count of 3, okay? The count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Wait. Come back. it's gone. At first, I was just fumbling about in the dark, constantly messing up everything I tried.
Yeah, he missed, and the chicken flew away.
But in time, I started getting more comfortable with things, and I stopped pining for my old life. For the longest time, I couldn't shake the memory of the fact that I had once been a noble. I was constantly wondering how I had ended up there, and why this was happening to me. Nellie seemed to have adjusted fairly quickly, but I wasn't faring so well. I was surprised, honestly. I figured if anyone was going to have an issue with our new lifestyle, it was going to be her, not me. Back home, Nellie had tended to be, well, a bit of a princess. She was frequently harsh with the Abigails, scolding them for the smallest of things. There were times I thought she might be biting her tongue for my sake, but every time it crossed my mind, she would say, "I've got you, dearest Mel. Everything's just fine." And it was those words that kept me going.
Oh, dearest Mel, I had the most wonderful idea. Would you like to hear it?
Sure, what's your idea? Oops.
We should get married.
What? You can't be serious.
Serious as serious gets. I mean, we're basically married already and everything but name.
We can't do that. We're siblings.
Nobody here needs to know that.
They can guess from our hair and our eye color, though.
I don't think we look that much alike.
Anyway, whatever gave you that idea?
Well, if we get married, then we can be together forever.
We can do that just as well as brother and sister.
Have I ever told the story about my sister when she was like 4 years old wrote a note to one of our oldest cousins when we were in New York for Thanksgiving that just said, "You are my fiance," spelled wrong. It was like FEEYONSAY or something like that. And it has been like a point of jokes for 20 years now. She probably heard the line, didn't know what it meant, was a 4-year-old kid, heard it at Thanksgiving dinner, but gave a note to like the oldest cousin in the family, who's like 5 or 6 years older than me. So he was probably like 12 at the time. You know, if I was 6 or 7, he was probably 12 or 13 and my sister was 4. And wrote, "You are my fiance."
It's not the same, though. No one ever says two siblings lived happily ever after. I want to be with you for the rest of my life, dearest Mel, and the best way to do that is to get married.
But Nellie...
What are you so hesitant for? Is there someone you pine for?
No, but...
Then there's no problem.
We're blood-related siblings. Does she realize that getting married means children and everything that leads up to that? And that goes against the teachings of the Lord. No, she's still just a kid chasing for her fairy tale ending. She doesn't understand the reality of what she's saying. Sometimes I'm not sure what to do with you, Nellie.
So you'll marry me?
Right now, I know you need God's word. And so starting tonight, you're getting your own private sermon every night, you understand?
Thank you. Did you fall asleep?
No,
You just zoned out?
yeah.
It's alright. It's all good. Minky Moo is so graciously providing tea duty every hour. And I thought she fell asleep for the 10 o'clock tea, but it was just a zone out. But that's why I was able to I didn't have to get up or take a break or do anything. It was just like, it looked like I had a never-ending teacup. So let me steep this for a little bit. Yeah, because we got a story to get through here, man.
My instruction was as much for my own sake as it was for Nellie's. I'm not gonna lie. The thought did cross my mind that her proposition might not be so bad. For one, I couldn't imagine spending the rest of my life with anyone else, and it had been her smile that kept me going when things got difficult. But I knew that it was a sin, and I didn't think I would be able to live with myself if I crossed that line. So night after night, I taught her and reminded her that we were brother and sister, and that we didn't have to be anything more for her to be the most important person in the world to me. After about our 3rd month away from home, that life began crumbling. Nellie woke up one day with a high fever that refused to break. At first, I thought it was just a cold and that she'd be over it soon enough. But as much as I tried to convince myself, oh, she'll be better tomorrow, she just kept getting worse, until eventually she couldn't even get out of bed. She'd visibly lost weight. I'd never heard her voice so weak and lethargic before. Is there anything you'd like me to get you, Nellie?
All I want is for you to be here with me, dearest Mel.
You really should eat something. I'll make something you like. How about a nice expensive chicken? The last one got away, but I won't let that happen this time.
I'm not really in the mood for anything too heavy.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry, Mel. I'll be better before you know it.
Yeah, you will. You'll be just fine, and everything's gonna be back to normal soon. Watching Nellie grow weaker every day scared the hell out of me. I desperately didn't want to lose her, because if I had lost her, then who would be left that wanted me? Who would tell me I was worth something? Who would say nice things about me? Who would be there with me every day? Just when I had started to feel optimistic about this new life, started to feel comfortable in it, it was looking like it might fall apart again. I searched everywhere for some medicine that could cure her. Healthy foods, fruits, vegetables with supposed medicinal properties, anything I could get my hands on. I prayed, and Nellie, you were overjoyed. You were thrilled I would go to such lengths for you. But the reality is, I was really doing it for myself. This is going to be really hot, I think. Yeah, it's still really hot. But as much as I searched, I couldn't find anything that worked, and I started to panic. I would go to bed at night, afraid I'd wake up the next morning, and Nellie wouldn't. I was already grasping at straws, and I was ready to try anything that had even the slightest chance of curing her. And then one day, I heard whispers. Whispers of a witch who lived by the lake. They said she was a recluse, that she hardly ever left her house, and that she hasn't been down to the city in years. They told me she might have some medicinal herbs that could help, so I rushed down to the lake to see her. Ooh, man. Sitting by the shore was a small cottage, even less luxurious than where Nellie and I were living at the time. Seeing the thin trails of smoke rising from the chimney, I was convinced the rumors were true. A witch lived in that house. I wasn't sure what to expect. Being a recluse, I figured she wasn't going to be very sociable, at least. And to tell you the truth, I was kind of scared to knock on her door. But I had exhausted all my other options, so I clenched my teeth and gave the door 2 firm raps. "Who's there?" The sound of her voice caught me off guard. All I could do was stare at the door with a knot in my throat. Based on the information I had, I'd assumed I was going to find a wrinkly old woman. But that was the voice of a young girl. And even though she only said 2 words, there was something indescribably enchanting about that voice. I could listen to her talk for hours on end, in some kind of strange, hypnotic trance. It was almost like magic, for lack of a better word. And I stood there dumbfounded, like my soul had been sucked from my body. "Who's there?" She repeated her question, which brought me back to reality. though I still had to fight to maintain my wits enough to respond coherently. My sister has fallen very ill and she desperately needs medicine. I was told that the person who lives here is a skilled herbalist. Could I please get something to treat her? What are her symptoms? She's got an extremely high fever that won't come down. No appetite. She's only drinking water and she can't get out of bed. We're going to want to lower her fever first. After that, get her on a nutritious diet. I'm going to give you 2 medications. Give her the first while her fever's high, and the second after it's come down. Thank you very much. Her voice wasn't bright and energetic like Nellie's. It was more restrained, somber, and quiet, yet simultaneously clear and sharp. The sound tickled my curiosity. I wanted to know what she looked like. I wanted to know what kind of girl stood on the other side of that door. With a voice that pretty, she must be equally lovely, I thought. And I had to see it for myself. And my wish didn't fall on deaf ears. When she opened the door to hand me the herbal medicine and take my money, her head peeked out between the cracks, ever so slightly. I said I would tell you everything, exactly as it happened. So I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. It was unsettling. It was nothing like I had imagined from her voice. Her skin had, I guess, fallen off or something, because you could see the raw red flesh beneath. To say it was hard to look at would be an understatement. Most of her face was covered by a black hood, so all I could see was her mouth and chin, but even that much was harrowing. But the last thing I wanted to do was look away. For all I knew, that was why she became a recluse, and I couldn't let myself hurt her, so I suppressed my own disgust, and I put on my best smile. People often tell me I have a very pleasant, amiable smile, so I figured I could use that to prevent her from picking up on what was actually going through my mind. And when she saw my face, a look of surprise seemed to cross hers.
It's still very hot.
The witch's herbs did indeed seem to help some. Going to visit her was better than talking to any of the local doctors. Nonetheless, Nellie hadn't been cured, and she was only feeling a little bit better. So I kept paying the witch visits, kept purchasing more herbs from her, and every time I went to that cottage and heard her sweet voice, I imagined how much sweeter it would sound without a door obstructing it. Even knowing what she looked like didn't stop the curiosity from growing within me. From what I gathered talking to her, there wasn't much of an age difference between us either. She was 16, and I was 17.
I wish I knew all the words to that song. You are 16, going on 17. I did it at one point in my life. I'll take care of you. Oh yeah, speaking of tea, I found a sparkling apple tea that was a Japanese import and had Ryu from Street Fighter on it. That's cool. That's cool. Did you buy it? You got it and it was pretty good? Hell yeah.
I'm sure you know how it is. When you meet someone around your age, you feel a sort of sense of kinship. This girl I had originally believed to be some kind of otherworldly witch was starting to feel like a regular person, like me. Through our conversations, I managed to learn her name, as well as the fact that she had come here from a faraway country. We were both a long way from home. Thinking she might open up even more to someone who'd been through a similar experience, I decided to try inviting her to go on a walk with me. It's not healthy to stay holed up inside all the time. You've got this beautiful lake right here. What do you say we take a little walk around the shoreline? And to my surprise, she accepted. Great weather, isn't it? I love the way the sun reflects off the surface of the lake. It's gorgeous.
You got a Sonic mug? Sick.
Are you okay?
I'm in disbelief, to tell you the truth.
Huh? What for?
You've seen my face. You know how hideous I am. And yet you still invited me on a walk. You're a very peculiar person.
Is it really that strange? I mean, we're almost the same age, so I figured we might make pretty good friends.
You want to make friends? With me?
Well, sure. We've been through a lot of the same things, so we can understand each other better than most.
Understand each other?
Yeah. We're both young, but we've been through some rough times.
I'm going to be blunt with you. You have not been through anything like I have.
What? No?
If you had experienced the things that I have, you wouldn't be smiling right now. I haven't known you long, but I don't need to have in order to know how unequivocally dissimilar we are. That we're cut from a very different cloth.
Well, yeah. We're people. We're not made of cloth, so...
That's not what that means, you know.
Oh.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be so harsh. In fact, I would say you're much better off not being in my position.
It sounds like you've been through a lot. If you don't mind me asking, what happened to you? I'd be happy to lend an ear. It might make you feel better to get it off your chest.
And that is what's so different about us.
Huh?
I will not tell you about myself. No. That said, I do appreciate the concern. Thank you.
Oh, sure. You're welcome. She's not very open with people, huh? Though I guess that's only to be expected. She hasn't spent much time around other people, looking the way she does. I wonder if there's anything I can do for her. At least get her to show a little bit of emotion. Say, if it's not too much to ask, can we do this again sometime?
Don't expect me to lower my prices.
I'm not trying to squeeze a better deal out of you. I want to get to know you better. Nothing more to it. No ulterior motives, I promise.
Did you forget I've already said I won't be telling you about myself?
All right, then it doesn't have to be about you. We can talk about anything, whatever you want. Do you have a favorite food? Any hobbies?
Nothing in particular.
Oh, that was a fruitful conversation. Crap.
I have no interests or tastes worth mentioning. So if you want to talk, I suppose that leaves you to be the subject.
Me?
Tell me about yourself.
My life's not all that exciting. Anything I had to tell you would probably just bore you.
I'm not looking for excitement.
Okay. Well, all right then. I guess I can tell you about myself. And so I did. I told her about my family's situation. I told her about Nellie, and that was pretty much all I had to talk about. For the most part, she hardly even reacted to anything I said, so it was difficult to tell if she was listening or not. But she would urge me to continue whenever I'd go quiet for more than a few moments, so I suppose she was listening. Every time I came to purchase more medicine, we would go on a walk around the lake together. A single loop around the shoreline didn't give us much time to talk, but my attempts to reduce our walking pace, to stop to extend our time together were flatly ignored. And she refused to go around more than once, claiming it would disturb her daily rhythm. That said, she never refused an invitation either, so I don't think that she particularly disliked me. Yet anyway. Oh, a robin!
What does a robin have to do with your sister?
Nothing, I just saw one over there, and if you listen, you can hear it singing. They migrate somewhere warmer when it gets cold. They just fly off to someplace more comfortable. If I had wings like a bird, maybe I could be free too.
There's not a single creature living in this world that is free.
What?
Birds regularly get shot down by hunters or preyed on by larger birds. The idea that they are free is nothing more than man's short-sighted delusion.
Sorry, I guess.
No, I should be apologizing. I wasn't trying to attack you. I simply lack the ability to properly empathize with others. I do not understand people. So please, if I say anything that upsets you or makes you uncomfortable, do not assume that that was my intention.
Sure. Maybe you're hiding it, or maybe you just don't know it yet, but I think you've got more empathy than you're letting on. Surely you can't say nothing affects you at all. You are human. So you don't have to be so closed off. I might not be able to do much for you, but I do want to get to know you better. I want to understand you. So if you ever feel like talking about yourself, just know that you've got an eager pair of ears right here. Okay?
If there were ever someone who could understand me, who could empathize with me, they would not be human.
What do you mean?
That you would need to be far removed from any idea of humanity to have a chance at understanding me. Regardless, I do appreciate your kind words.
Sure. So, out of curiosity, do you have anyone, really important to you in your life?
Not at the moment.
Does that mean you used to? I'd love to hear about them if you don't mind.
They're all long dead. 4 years ago, something unpleasant occurred, and as a result of that, I was forced to part ways with the people who taught me that humans have the capability for kindness.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well then, if your sister's condition worsens again, come see me. Farewell.
Hey, maybe we could walk a little slower next time so we could have more time to talk? I want to get to know you better.
I'll consider it.
Does it really require that much thought?
So long.
Bye. See you soon.
I think that's where we'll leave it too. Things continued on like that for a while.